we should have just canceled the meeting.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order and we'll do the pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Mr. Hamel?
Here.
Mr. Parati?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Here.
Mr. Facto?
Yes, here.
Mr. Randall?
Yes. Okay, all board members have been provided with a copy of the minutes of the last meeting. A motion will be entertained to approve and accept the minutes of the regular meeting of May 2023. If there are no deletions or corrections. Okay, so Sharon?
I'll second it.
Vern? Okay, roll call.
Mr. Hamel?
Yes.
Mr. Parati?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yes. Addressees. Mr. Garson?
Wanted to come this evening and provide some updates. It's been a little while since you have all seen me. So, had some good news to report. Posted the 2022 ZBA minutes, received those in their completion in a corrected form, and was able to post all of those up in the previous months. Cleaned up some postings on the site with the help of Kevin. We went through, it was noted that it was becoming cluttery, and some of the things like, for instance, there was like no planning board meeting for June. I had it scheduled to keep that message up for all of June. Conceptually or ideally, it only needed to be up for the first week because the planning meeting would have happened that first week or whatever. So, little corrections like that we put into place. Posted the music in the parks flyer. That's all been updated. Took the old one down, posted the new one that Barb provided, and still waiting on some more. I believe 175th events, but been posting minor things as I get it. Everything has been up in a timely manner.
He did.
Approved last month. There was an SSL certificate, which is the Secure Site License Certificate. That was renewed with approval of Kevin May 26th. In June, it was informed to me that there was some systems here at the town that were having problems. Layer 8 was contacted. I worked with Layer 8 on that. I'm not sure what the current status of any of that is, but the end decision from Layer 8 was that they were going to move their email migration, and they had me contribute some of those things that they needed from my side. I put those in place immediately, responded back. I haven't heard, so I don't really know what the status of that is. We also communicated about the domain name, which was part of the old homestead subscription. That was approved months ago by Kevin to be moved to an account just for Schuyler Falls. That was done. Layer 8 wanted to actually take over the domain name into their account or into whatever they wanted to put it in. Unfortunately, that can't happen after a migration. That's not, or a transfer. That's not my rule. That's the organization that monitors all that. So I notified them of that, but that's not a problem. In the next few days, I'll be actually giving Kevin the information and a sign off, and Layer 8 actually can have full access to the Schuyler Falls account that we created just for that. So they can still transfer after 60 days if they want, but there's no need to do so. Other than that, one of the nice things, it's an issue, it was a problem, it's still being worked on, but one of the nice things is Reg reached out with a concern or an issue where he actually found that the SSL certificate was having a problem. And while the town has had issues before where they said, oh, it's coming up insecure and stuff, I've never been able to actually witness that because I can't log in. With the previous IT vendor, they wouldn't allow me any access, privileged access. What was nice about this situation is I could get in with Reg's permission and examine what the problem was. And in this case, what was determined, and it's in the vendor's hands of the SSL cert and the site software, is that Firefox, not Chrome or Edge, which is another version of Chrome, or any of the other browsers, but Firefox has a specific issue, and it tailors itself with security software. So specifically like McAfee or ESET. In my case, my company uses ESET. I don't have the issue because ESET passes this identity concern that Firefox has, where other security software like McAfee evidently has a concern, and the concern is simply that there's a certain amount of data points that it needs to validate for the certificate to be valid. There's different versions and brands, and it's all very technical, but the point being is that according to Firefox's standard, it's not thinking that there's enough points of validation. So we are still working on that. Thank you, Reg, for the opportunity to actually fully look into that situation and have access to be able to actually evaluate it other than there's a problem. Because as I had noted, I went to all my resources like DigiCert. They have a thing where they validate your SSL cert, and we got all check boxes saying everything is good. So now on to the less comfortable aspects of what I'm here for tonight. I had asked Kevin for an opportunity to speak after watching the last meeting, the work session of this town board. So I was not impressed nor really appreciated anything that was said by certain individuals of the town board. I had a couple questions I would like to ask of certain town board members, just to get on record maybe an idea or concept of, evaluating their concerns a little bit more. By Ken Vern, can I ask, how many times do you check your email? Have you ever checked your Schuyler Falls email?
No,
No. Mr. Parati?
I don't bother because it doesn't work half the time.
And you know that how?
From everything I hear.
From what you hear, okay.
Listen, I'm not here to be questioned, neither are any of us. You got a 5-minute period to speak, so have at it.
Okay, thank you. You don't have to answer them, I'm just asking. Sherm, do you ever check your email? Okay. How many times have the board, the ones I specifically mentioned, Parati, Sherm, and Vern, how many times have you guys reached out to me with any concerns, complaints, or problems outside this venue?
I personally never have myself, but we have through the board, through Kevin. And I'm sorry, Pat, the way I look at it is I am not happy with your services.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to pull any strings. I don't feel that things should have to go a year and a half to get things right when you're a professional company.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm at. That's how I feel. I have nothing personally against you. I don't like how your company has handled the situation here at the town.
I do.
That's where I'm at.
I appreciate that. I will address that specifically. What I appreciate that the town and the board has allowed me to do over this time is, back in January when the original concerns came up, there was the point that, I wasn't updating the site and wasn't doing a lot of great things with the site. There was no content, it wasn't being updated, and so on and so forth. The board had given me an opportunity to prove myself, and over the following months, through many hours of work and following up with individuals, I obviously was able to capture that data. But the good news is is that I hope that the public can actually see that the problem really isn't Northeastern Computer or myself personally, but the problem is actually with the town itself getting the content. And the reason I know that, and I appreciate all the information that you got, Kevin, you're very busy. This is not a fault, but through your busyness, it took Kevin over 3 months to actually get me his updates that he wanted for the site. That's just a fact. To date, I still cannot get from Donna the actual 2023 meeting minutes, and Kevin has sent at least a half dozen requests, and myself. Now that has actually costed the town money because I've actually come down here with Kevin and actually did that. So what's been proven is that I will put in the effort and time, and I have. And I know that's very uncomfortable to hear. But the point being is, if people don't want something to succeed, the contribution is they're not going to succeed.
Can I answer one of your things?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, and you might not wanna hear this.
Go for it.
You came in last year and downloaded all my minutes that I had on my computer. Kevin was in my office with you and me. I was on my way out the door and you put in, it is yet to be on the website, over a year.
Actually, they've all been there for 2022.
Well, they're not there right now. Or they haven't been.
They have been for months, and it was actually validated by Kevin himself about 4 months ago, in March. And the point being is, I didn't talk about 2022. I'm actually talking about 2023, January, February.
Cause the website hasn't been up and running. I can't get
What?
on that website
Okay, there's training that needs to be done,
to get on the
but
website.
I can't get you to email me. To get to the website, anyone can go to the website right now. Again, this is a perfect example. If you want to find a problem, you're going to find a problem. So you're making excuse and finding problem. The site has been up. There's other people on this board that have went to this site. Kevin talks to me all the time about the site. Barb has been on the site. The code enforcement officer's been on the site. Sam has been on the site. He asked me to pull some stuff up and down. So the point being is, the site's been up, and I'm supposed to do training, but you guys are talking about leaving the service, so that's perfectly fine. I don't think you probably want training at this point. I mean, that's just a cost that doesn't seem necessary. So what I basically came to just to clear up to understand, because there was also an individual, Mike MD from the town, that contributed some idea that I would be able to stay on and work with a new company and stuff like this. I will do exactly what my contract, which I don't actually have a yearly contract signed, but I will still abide, because my company always does, by exactly what my contract says. I will continue to support this town. The site will continue to be maintained by my company until you guys find someone else, which you've stated you're looking for. But I will say, upon being notified that I'm no longer part of it, I will give all the data, that's the database tables and all of the files that are underneath the public directory, over to them. But I'm not going to work for this other company to help build out a new site for another organization. It's awkward that that was brought up. If I would do that, I won't do that. But I will give you guys everything that is yours, and I will make sure it's in a very universal form, and I'll support you till then. But I was very disappointed that individuals who don't even access the resources are taking people's words for it, not even knowing the underlying concerns or problems. And yes, you can't know everything, but it is the town council's responsibility to then go and do research and get a beginning understanding of what's going on. And that should start with at least a conversation. And I've had none of it.
You know, I'm the one that brought you here in the first
Yes.
place. And I think we've all been patient for the last year and a half or whatever it is. And I've just seen where things haven't worked out.
I
Okay?
agree.
So at that point, I think it's time, instead of spinning our wheels, to move on, which is what we're doing. And I appreciate what you've done. That's all
I agree.
I have to say.
And like I said, I will support you guys till the end. And, so I agree though. It's obvious that
It's not gelling.
Exactly. So. Thank you, that's all I have.
Pat, I just have a question, like, if, when I went on right now, it's still showing that issue exists on our website. And it's on my phone, it's not just, can't be just the Firefox down here, because this is my phone, okay? So that's an issue on the website itself, and that's been going on for a couple weeks now. I do apologize, because I did say 2 weeks last time we were here for the work session, and it was going into the second week, because it had been since the previous Tuesday. But it wasn't a full 2 weeks. As far as the training, you know, that would, I think, solved a lot of issues. I guess, you know, so that I wasn't in the middle of it and trying to juggle your schedule with their schedule. I asked that you reach out to them. I know that Sammy has reached out to you a couple different times, and I don't know what happened there where you just didn't hook up or whatever. And I know our codes enforcement officer also wanted the training so that he could get on there, because there's a bunch of stuff that he needs to put on there. One of the things that I talked to Donna about, you're right, I've talked to her several times over the last couple of months, but Donna was under the impression that we were going to get the training so that we wouldn't have to pay you 15-minute blocks as long as that took, if she had the access to put the minutes on and that stuff on her own. Actually, wouldn't be paying you at 15-minute blocks or whatever, you know, how long that took. Last time I was able to go on there, you did get my message up, but I didn't see any of the updates on the projects that I had sent you.
There's a whole new page under.
I know you said you were working on that. I can't even get on this thing, but that had all the updates of all the major.
So what's weird is, and again, this is good information to have. I'm not sure. Do you have Android or is it Apple?
That's Apple.
Okay, so Apple, that must be Safari browser. So maybe there's an issue with Safari. I'm actually on the site, and there's a little lock and secure, and I'm here right now, right? So there's something going on, but obviously.
And because
all
you're
my
the
tools-
administrator, that wouldn't make a difference on one of us
Not on this phone, no.
Okay.
No, not at all.
I'm just asking because I don't know everything.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So I just want to.
But what I can tell you is all of your projects, and I believe I sent you a notification of when they were up, but they're underneath resources, and there's a page called Capital Projects, and all of them are there, from the Morrisonville Water District improvement to the Macy Lane, Rickson Avenue, Recreation Splash Pad, and Highway Garage Floor and Water Containment System.
And that's under capital projects, you said?
Yes, resources. So that's where resources is where JCEO, the CBD grant, careers, and media are. There's also a capital projects page down. And that's where all of those updates were. And that's, I believe, per your request, because we didn't want to just put them on the supervisor page, because it's a.
Right, I didn't want them on supervisor page, I didn't want to fill up that first page with overwhelming information. Yeah.
And then
You get duplicated.
the other question I had, I never get any feedback. I heard through rumor that should the motor MVE job opportunity, or MEO, I guess, should that be pulled? Is that
Yep,
filled?
you can take that one down because it got filled about 2 weeks ago, 2 to 3 weeks ago.
Okay. Yeah, there was no
Actually, 4 weeks ago.
no word to pull that. It was just on there.
Yep, no, you can take that one down because all those jobs have been filled now up at the highway garage.
Now, Patrick, in terms of the minutes of 22 and 23, and I tried to access them and couldn't, obviously.
So the
Can we get the 22 back up?
the public, underneath public records, right
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Okay, you can see that there's the regular meeting agendas.
Yep.
That's all for 2022, well, from October of 2022 to tonight. Regular meeting minutes for February of 2022 through December 27th. So those are the regular meeting minutes for last year that was requested. The only thing I have from the planning board that was ever given to me was a planning board agenda for April 4th of 2023. I have no meeting minutes for any of those. I have a zoning board of appeals meeting agendas for this year, but no minutes. But up there is the full list of 2022 meeting minutes for ZBA after being corrected that I received in May at the end of May.
Thanks.
Can I just say one thing?
Yes.
You asked Vern if he's checked his emails. I probably get 40 to 50 emails a day. I get them from Proof School, an employer, off-track betting, airborne, town of Schuyler Falls. I don't, and maybe it's because I'm just old and I'm not capable, but I've never gotten any notification anyway of, other than, I guess, if I went on. I don't even know what my email address is. I get calls from people, I get texts from people.
Yeah,
I've
that
never got an
actually
email.
had to be set up on your phone.
Never was set up on my phone, can't get it, I don't think it was set up.
I thought you had nothing more to do with emails.
I first off, setting up any of that, even on the computers here, I did it once.
Yeah.
This is back August of last year. But other than that, we had issues because some of those never even worked. I didn't have privileged access. That's your IT company. You need to have admin access for certain things that were going on, the way it was configured, stuff like this. I've never had that. I tried to set it up to the best of my ability on all the systems that I could. Believe it or not, the older systems worked better. I set it up on phones for the people who were here that had their phone that wanted me to set them up. I think I set it up for you, Reg. I set it up for you, Kevin, when we took pictures. But that's an IT responsibility, and I was told stay back. And also, part of the new contract, to my understanding with Layer 8, I was told that emails, like that's them. It's going to Microsoft or something like this.
Well, I just think it's an unfair question, because you're asking Vern if he ever checked his emails. I never checked mine, I can't get them. I mean, where else am I gonna get them? Mike, you ever get any?
So actually, besides for Mike, who was gone during the wintertime when I actually handed it out, everyone was given a piece of paper that actually was like a letter that had your login credentials and all of the server information. It was handed out actually at the board meeting. I don't know whatever happened to that.
Yeah.
I
Mine was working until that last issue with Layer 8, and it quit working. Now, I can't really blame you for an email. You've got nothing more to do with it.
Well, you still,
Does he?
they're going to be taking it over.
Yeah.
That's what they were in
Oh,
the
they
process
haven't taken it
of
over yet.
working on. Pat had worked, I think, 2 or 3 days with them to try to get the information they needed, and the domain was part of it. Because I was getting told from them that you didn't wanna give the domain. Once I talked to you, you said you had no problem doing that, you just wanted us to sign a form, a waiver of liability, that you no longer were in charge of it and had the domain. And there's one other thing,
very specifically to what you just said, I can provide the board with the email that I had with Brian, but it was never that I was unwilling. It was that I was uncertain if that was going to be transferred, because that's the website. It's not used internal to here. It was just for the website. But that's also at the same email that I had stated that it doesn't really matter because the town owns the account now. It was moved from Rick Pottiker's account and we put it into your own. So I said, once that transfer is done,
Yeah.
have at it. So it never was an unwillingness. I just want to make that clear.
no, I got several texts and emails back and forth from us saying that you were willing to do that, as long as you relieved the liability before having.
Right.
Oh, the other thing is, you said you wanted something in there, you wanted your passwords removed so that you couldn't have access after
Be
we did
accused.
that.
That's
And that would protect you in case they said, okay, you went in, cause you had admin privileges and a password.
Yes.
So, I knew it'd come to me, but those are 2 things.
That is
But,
correct.
yeah, they've been,
They had me plug in some, I believe it's account validation or verification from Microsoft. So the process has started. I don't know what.
yeah, you were supposed to send me the domain and the domain information or the the user word. And then I asked you to send me the password separately in a text so that all that information was in one electronic email.
First off, I understood what they were saying there, and the password will be brought to you in text, separate.
Or you can.
But it was going to be in
tonight if
paper.
you-
That's exactly right. It was going
Yeah,
to be the paper.
just so that they didn't have the full, somebody hacked it, they didn't get the full keys to the kingdom.
Exactly. Right there, it's all.
So, I mean,
all
I've been waiting on that too, and I know they've been waiting on that so that they can do whatever they gotta do.
And then if I can, just to finally address your last concern there, Term, which was, again, I will only state, like, you obviously became aware that you had an email address. It's also posted on the website. If there was any concern or you needed it hooked up to your phone, even if it wasn't me that was going to do it, you could have reached out, right, and asked the question.
I didn't know I had to tell you, Drew. I'm seriously. I mean, I just assumed that
So then is it
That
fair to
might-
say that you don't visit the website then? Because it has been posted
I-
since January.
You know what, the last time I looked at the website, it said unsecured website, and I said, well, guess I'm not gonna go on this.
Right.
And I never went back. I'm just being truthful.
Yeah, and mine, like I said, mine, I just showed you, mine does the
Yeah.
same thing, and so does my computer down here. If it works on Android, what do you got for a phone?
iPhone.
iPhone too? Anybody got an Android?
I do.
Does yours come up on your
Yeah.
end? So it's something with the iPhone stuff then. Alright. And like I said, I don't understand all the computer lingo stuff, so I just looked at that and said, it's not coming up.
Yeah, and again, I use the validation tools that I have. They gave thumbs up. I have screenshots of those. And also, like I said, my systems work fine. We test with the latest versions of like Edge and Chrome. Some companies go as far as to state like your best, put on the website, best user experience if viewed in Chrome or Edge. There's not usually a need to do that. This is kind of a weird situation though, because you do get that warning, which kind of is a halter to say, hey, what's going on? It's very weird. I have not experienced a specific issue before, so I have reached out to the vendor. Now that I actually have data, was able to take screenshots, was able to validate, someone reached out. I've sent that on. They are looking into it and working on it, so. And that started just 2 days ago.
A less important question. The Facebook page that you set up under Town of Schuyler Falls, that's operational. Who is the administrator of that?
Well, you actually bring up a very good point. Right now, so if I presented this back to the board a while back, the old website or the old Facebook page, Rick Potiker was the sole administrator of. His account got hacked and we lost access. Could the town work to get access back? Yes, that's a lengthy process. Probably costly with lawyers getting involved to send certified letters or whatever. What we chose to do is create a new one. At this time, our company is the only one. I actually, this was a while back and it was only verbal, no written communication. Had talked to you briefly about like needing to get more people on there. We maybe talked about adding your personal Facebook account. What it is the way Facebook works is you take your personal Facebook account, like it's your identity. It's kind of like your username. And that gets attached to a business page. So like the Schuyler Falls page. The only problem is it's got to be accepted, and it's got to be accepted in a certain amount of time. So there should be more than just my company on there. So Kevin, I think that would obviously should be at least you, but I was thinking this was off of just how some stuff goes. Maybe Barb would be a backup, or someone on the town board. Like there should be multiple. Best practice is at least 3 people, but I don't have 3 people to assign it to.
Alright, but right now you're like the administrator of that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, you know,
And then we make
Well,
posts
yeah,
there as
yeah.
well of all the
And
content.
you got no problem giving us that, so we
No,
can
not at
figure
all.
out what the
Not at all.
heck to do with that.
And I noticed that the town meetings that are being recorded on this, all of a sudden, don't appear on our Facebook page. There's
Yes.
many people that, not to be critical of you, Mr. Dona, but there's a lot of people who rely on this to watch an official, more an official site right here that the town board is responsible for. So, are you involved in that at all?
100%. And I can take full blame on that because it seems to be a touchy subject on cost, but it requires me to log into that system right there. It's also in flux because of the transfer of IT companies, but with the way normal process is, whether I'm here physically, sometimes I've been here physically and done it. So I'd rather have to come down, or I would remote in remotely with permission. And so that hasn't been done as of recently.
Yeah, the way that we set it up is after the meeting, I plug it in my office, I leave it up and open so he can go in on it. So I've been doing that right along. So maybe it was an oversight, on your end that you weren't pulling it off anymore.
I think it
I
has more to do with
assumed-
cost, that's all.
I assumed you were still doing that, so.
I just know that there was questions about the amount of time spent.
Well, I never hit you with cost unless you
On that
heard
one?
it through there, yeah.
Okay.
No, because that's
So
what you
I'll-
told me to do,
after
because the
this
first
meeting,
time I
I'll-
closed the book and you're like, no, I can't do it, once you close it, it shuts it down, so.
That is correct. Sometimes I have.
I leave it open and plug it in, and that way you said you could remote in on that.
So long as cost of that, of pulling that is not a factor, I can do that after this meeting tonight when he plugs it in. I can get those.
Oh, great.
How much does that cost?
Whatever time it takes for YouTube to upload. I create a custom page front. It usually takes, depending on how long these meetings last, between 15 minutes and 30 minutes to do for each meeting. I think there's 3 meetings that need to be posted.
And Richard, I looked at the meeting the other day, on YouTube that was posted, or that you took. As it said Richard Donor. It was posted by, was it Rick Hazen maybe?
Yeah, the work
Rick
session on
Hazen,
baseball.
work session and a meeting.
Did he share it or something, or?
I don't know, it came up.
Oh, I know what it is. See, there's, as you know, Dick, there's 2 sites.
Yeah.
One of them is called, you had named it, SF Times. That SF Times is public. So when he ends up posting a meeting on SF Times, it can be shared. Anyone can share it. So I think that's what you mean.
It could be, I mean, the whole.
It's a public site.
The difference
So-
is you can definitely tell the 2 videos apart, because this
Yeah.
has a 360 view. It's
Yeah.
180 up top and a split view of 180 below. Where with his camera, he's pointed it towards us. There's a smaller viewing angle, and then he directs it. So you can easily decipher which ones are the town sponsored ones versus which ones are not.
And in any case, it's getting out there. That's what we want, anyway. It's getting out there.
All right,
So, once again, there was concern of cost. Is there a concern of cost? He just brought up a concern of
well, there's
cost.
always a
Can I-
concern of some cost.
Well, how much is it? You told us how long it would take, what's the cost?
The contract was $100 an hour. And if it takes, how long it specifically takes me, there's no guarantee. How long, can you tell me how long you're gonna talk here tonight? It's around 15 to 30 minutes per video. You're talking, there's 3 videos that we're behind on, so an hour and a half maybe? If you're saying, am I gonna give you an actual number here? No, cause I can't.
Ballpark, that's all.
Well, but like you're saying, so our work session, our last work session was 2.5 hours, I think.
It's a pretty lengthy one, yes.
So you're talking $250. $100.
No,
I don't think.
not
I
how long
wanted
the
to download.
video is. It takes about 50, it depends on how fast
Yeah.
and the internet connection can upload it to
Oh,
YouTube. So it's only a fraction of like 15 minutes to 30 minutes to get it uploaded and get everything attached to it. So no, it's not the length of the meeting. It's-
Oh, okay.
But the length of the meeting determines how big the file is, which determines how long it takes to push it up.
Okay.
So
Why isn't it something that we could do from here to get it on the site? Just like our minutes, remember we talked about that? And it was gonna cost?
Yeah, we don't have any admin credentials right now.
well, the good news is YouTube. Again, if you have an account with YouTube, I can give you permission and you guys can post it yourself. And that actually has nothing to do with the website whatsoever. So
Right.
if you want to post, go for that. I mean, that's using YouTube, just like Facebook. If anyone wants to do the posting of the meeting minutes that I put on Facebook or on the website until you get the training and credentials, if that's so which you want, gladly take the copy of the PDF agenda and put it over on Facebook. I can give anybody that wants to give me their Facebook credential, well, that wants to be accepted to the Schuyler Falls page. I can give you access and you can be posting your own material.
So you set that up for the town,
That's correct. And YouTube as well.
right? So is there, as long as you're saying you give us that,
So the way it
Information.
works is, again, you have a personal account. So you sign up for a YouTube account.
yeah,
Sherm, you can sign up for a YouTube account. And then my personal account, which I don't ever need to give you credentials for, I'm the one that set up the Schuyler Falls page, so that I send you an invite to join that as an administrator. I give Sherm or Reg or Mike or Vern, Donna, the access from your personal account to that page. And then as an administrator, you have the right to remove people, you have a right to add new people. You can remove videos, add videos. But there's no like single credential that I give you guys to get access. Nor is there that way for Facebook. It's you take your personal account, I invite you, and then you never have to share any credentials. It's much more secure. And that's how they do it today. And we'll gladly do that.
so if I contact you, I'll put a couple of us on as admin.
Could I go on?
No,
I'm experienced.
I don't care who it is.
Okay.
Did you have a website before? Just asking.
You know I had a website before. No, he took it over.
The qualifications are high there. So, hate to be a stickler, am I to post the videos and spend the money, or am I just going to show somebody? What do we want to do? Because this is also a point of contention on how fast material gets up. Is if I have to ask for permission or approval every time, there's obviously a delay. So.
Right, but you didn't have to before, it was our
Okay.
verbal that you were just doing, that's why I continued to leave it open on my little round table back there every time we had a meeting. So,
Okay.
is there anybody that doesn't wanna post it? Okay, so go ahead and catch us up.
Perfect.
As far as I knew, I thought there was something going on with it.
Now, getting back to the email thing. Quick question for you. Who is doing the email now? Because I was in Vermont Hospital in intensive care for the 3 weeks when you did the training. I've not even been set up. Don't have a clue who to set up. They're saying you're not doing it anymore. They're saying somebody else is doing. Who's gonna do it? You have an answer?
I
for
don't
that?
know. I don't know what the current status is. I have submitted per layer 8's request specific information that says that's transferring. If it hasn't yet, then I guess it would still be me. But I don't know. I can add you. I can give you instructions, and if it doesn't work, that's going to tell you that it's not on my server anymore, because that means it would be validating with someone else's.
But
So-
again, until they get that admin information that we had discussed about a week ago or so. That was what I understood Larry was waiting for.
Yeah, that should not be needed though for the actual transfer email. That's just to have possession of it, the domain.
So what
I
you're
actually
saying, they
added
could
the
copy the emails and
They
don't need the
haven't
domain?
worked out, they haven't told me anything about what their plans are, I have no idea. Again, I can't speak to
no, I
someone
just
else.
know you were working with them for 2 or 3 days like you
Yeah,
had
what I
said,
did
so.
was, they first approached me about the SSL cert. I assisted by re-pushing that out, and it semi-worked, but they still were seeing something that they didn't wanna see. So I said I'd push it out again. Upon pushing it out again, I created another issue, and that took another day, full day to resolve. So that's when I notified you that attempting to push this certificate out multiple times, forcing it out multiple times, was just not working. So that's all I did with them was certificate, and they gave me a validation code to plug in so that Microsoft could validate that Schuyler Falls truly wanted to go to Microsoft accounts. So,
I'm still having that issue, and I think when you get that, message, and you
Yeah,
have
it's
to
the same
push
one I
yes
just
that you're
showed you.
gonna go on an unsecure, whatever it is.
I was told and that's the first I'm hearing of it, I asked Layer 8, Layer 8 had said, all the emails are working, they're gonna transfer it off. That's what they said.
Hey, whose name is that certificate in, yours or Layer 8?
No, it's Town of Schuyler
Town.
Falls.
Okay.
It's owned by us.
The only thing has my name on it is the technical contact.
And the information to go on there, so yeah. Would,
But no, it's actually, the person is Kevin, because he's the supervisor. But yeah, it says the company is Schuyler Falls. So Vern, if you would like, you can reach out to me, we can schedule that, we can get it set up on your phone. Gladly would do that. Phones I don't really have a problem with. I guess the question would be, is that overstepping? I don't know. I know I can't work on any of the town systems because of the security. It requires enhanced security, and I've never been able to get that. So you get weird issues like certain folders aren't created, like delete box and stuff, or sent or junk mail. So it doesn't work well. So that should be, any town-owned system should be done by the IT company. But I can assist easily with any other, with phones or with personal systems.
So as far as the domain information that's needed, you can take care of that tomorrow, so I can,
Yep.
then it'll be on Layer 8. Then I can hold them under the thumb. They're telling me they need that stuff to go on and do what they need to do. So that's something you can take care of.
I'd just like to say thanks for cooperating with Layer 8.
Yeah.
That was super helpful, for sure.
I think
They've been very easy and very good to work with, so.
our first conversations, once I got jumped on board, I appreciate everything you do with them. But yeah.
I think Howard had a question.
Howard, go ahead.
Where are we as department heads as far as still getting training for the website? Are we on hold, or are we still going forward with that?
Well, being that he's in the middle of a transfer, I don't know. Is that something you need, if it's something you need immediately, and you can work something out with Pat to get what you need to get on there, I don't have a problem. I'm the only one on the board, but I don't have a problem with, what, a half hour probably, 20 minutes maybe? Depending on how fast he picks it up, I get you.
And what
I'm
we're
not,
training.
I'm not trying to nail you down to, I'm just in general, you know what I'm saying?
I
That's
can't
what we had
commit to
talked
any-
about in previous conversations, is probably a half hour of work of training to get somebody up to speed on using their part of the website. And I know you've always had a concern about how much privilege to give them so that they don't do something somewhere else that may take you 3 hours to fix, so.
Right, yeah, that was,
So it was,
counterproductive there.
right, so, you know, but to get him so that he can use it and put some information on there and some of his forms and some of that stuff. I don't have a problem with it. Does anybody on the board have a problem? I didn't figure they would, no. So-
Before we go that far, let me ask this question. If we take training now with Pat, will that go forward after the transition? That the training be the same for the website after the
It
transition?
depends on, the carrier and what they set up for a website. So I can't answer that because I have no idea whether, you know, theirs would be the same as what Pat's is right now.
You'd have to have the definite details in order for that to be.
Cause everything, the way I understand yours is all programmed, more like a programmer one. I'm going months back now when we were looking at everybody and you ended up staying on. That was one of the
I do love the
differentiations
details that you
was,
come up, you remember, great, yeah, let me just summarize real quick. A lot of websites, including like North Shore, which you guys were looking at before, they use a WordPress template. WordPress is basically an underlying site that can be customized, and this site is not that. This site is very specific to government organizations
Right.
and their needs.
and
So,
it's more on the programmer side of things. You have to understand it to do it, where the other is more like a, for lack of a better term, because I'm not an engineer in this stuff, but more like a Windows program. You click and,
template, right.
yeah, click and play, so it's easier.
And everyone's
Easier for
really
the
different.
lay guy or girl to use than somebody that knows DOS.
There you go. Yeah, it's very specific to the vendor, so.
Well, has anybody got anything else?
No.
I appreciate you coming in. I appreciate everything you did so far.
Thank you for your time.
And we'll be in touch with you.
Already?
That's fine.
Thank you. Alright, so that was our addressee. After the last work session, we did decide to, because of the ask of the residents to do public forum at the beginning. So that's next. If anybody for public forum has anything they'd like to ask. Again, I highly advise if you're gonna ask the board questions that you have a written response down so you can hand it to us so that we can get the information or questions to your information. Information to your questions.
Or we can have a resolution to enact that.
Yeah, I don't have to because I looked through it and there is no, other than our agenda, there is no time in here that says that we have to do anything in a particular order. All that states in there is that we do allow for public forum. And that was the resolution the way it passed.
Right.
So like I said,
So is it open for discussion right now,
what's open for discussion?
this change?
Yeah, all we did was change the agenda, the agenda was posted
Right.
on the website.
But
so-
then I had made a statement at the work session. It was my request that any resident, they might attend a meeting and gain information, and at the end of the meeting, they might want to address the board about things they've learned during the meeting. So I was hoping that the audience would be open to address the board at the beginning and at the end. Or one or the other. If they want to address the board at the beginning of the meeting, they might prefer to address the board at the end of the meeting.
There's an option for that in the guidelines, right?
Yeah, it's I.
So
H
that's
and
what I
I
meant
is
by
what you're
that.
talking about. Yeah, H and I are still in there. The second addressee, if it's from the same person, just has a vote from the
A
board.
vote from, perfect, okay,
Okay,
all right, good.
so we didn't have to change anything. That's why we didn't have to do a new resolution
Okay.
because when we
Okay.
did the rules, we had never put in there specifically when they apply.
Okay.
So we can
That's fine.
change the order.
Yeah.
And we'll see how it goes. So again, is there anybody for a public forum?
Well, I'd like the suggestion that Howard made last time at the work session, that if you're unable to stay for the whole meeting, that you put a sign-up sheet up there and allow them to speak and keep the public forum at the end.
Yep, there is a sign up sheet up there. Did you sign that to speak tonight for the
No.
backside? No.
No,
So that's what that's there for. That gives us an attendance, and if you wanna speak, that's why I looked at it before I went out, and I didn't see anything written on there, but, other than your names. But yeah, if you got something specific that you wanna address, I had covered that last meeting also, saying that at least if I don't know who you are, at least I can call you by name. I didn't say, hey, you, or whatever, you know, so.
So, if I could, so Richard, you're basically saying the way it's always been, and I think that was done by resolution, was that addressees, like Pat,
Right.
as long as you sign up or sign a paper and say you wanna address the board, you can come in before we all sit here for the whole meeting and you have a specific thing to address the board, you address the board, and then if you wanna leave, that's fine. I know back 100 years ago when I was on the board, what the problem was is that people preferred to be able to talk in the beginning. That's why we had said, well, if you have something specific you wanna talk about, absolutely. And that way you don't have to sit through the whole meeting, because some people don't wanna go through this in the beginning.
Till 9 o'clock
because-
at night.
Right, because they wanna come in and hear the meeting, but they don't wanna hear all the public forum. So after the meeting, and then it goes to public forum, if they don't have anything to address the board with, they can get up and leave, they're not gonna miss any part of the meeting.
right.
So it's always been that anyone can address the board, just write it down, and that way too, like Kevin was saying, we can know ahead of time that Richard Dona's gonna ask such and such. If we wanna, the sooner we know about it, the more we can research and have an answer for you. Instead of, like, I read out the cuff, and then you say, I don't know the answer, Kevin's done this before, if he doesn't know the answer, he's not gonna give you the wrong answer, and you won't get the answer until the next meeting anyway, so.
So, I guess we're back to the beginning here. Was it your misunderstanding of how we did stuff? Why we were asking to do it prior? Because we've always allowed that as an addressee. The only thing we ever asked as an addressee is that you give us your name and some kind of subject. You don't, we've never held anybody to the subject matter, but again, a name so we can say, hey, I do have, several addressees, or one addressee, or 3 addressees, and then they talk just like Mr. Garso did. If you look at the agenda tonight, that's what he asked. That's why he's under addressee.
No, I didn't know that you could sign up prior to the meeting to
You don't
speak.
even have to sign up the way it was. All you had to do was let one of us know. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Yeah.
Let the town clerk know, so, cause she does the agenda. So if you let Donna know, she has the information ahead of time to put the right people on there and their names. And then a heads up on what you're talking about is nice, and I've always said, I don't wanna sit up here while somebody fires 15 questions at me, especially if they don't give me time to answer. Sometimes it's been a past practice in here by some people when they're doing that they want everything out on the record. Well, I'll tell you right now, I don't take shorthand. I don't, maybe other than you don't either. I was gonna say, other than Donna, she might be the only one to be able to, record that fast. So I always say, hey, please, if you're gonna do that, give me a written response to all those, as your questions are, and then I will do my best to find you the answers. But if you just wanna sit here and fire stuff at me, I can't answer that, because I can maybe remember 2 or 3 in a row. When we get into 5, 6, 7, and 8, I'm gonna lose what the first 2 or 3 were, and I can't write that fast, so. But yeah, it's, either way, this board apparently doesn't matter to them, because I discussed that at the work session, whether they wanted to move the public forum up front. Really, it's no matter to me what way they wanna do it. And I know we're never gonna please everybody, because, like Sherm said, some people just wanna hear the meeting, and that's what they're here for, because a topic that's being brought up, they're concerned about, or would like information on. And some people are here just because they have an issue that they would like to ask the board and get a response on. So it's a happy medium, you know, we're never gonna get everybody to be totally happy. But, like I said, it was at the response that we have got from the people that do show up down here to the town meetings. It's usually the same people that care, enough to show up and find out what's going on. They had asked to do public forum at the beginning, so it was a simple agenda move, that's all it was at this time. But we can leave it the way it was if everybody's in agreement in the audience that, you know, you can always do, like I say, the addressees, and then we can do the public forum at the end. But either way, it's covered. It's letter H and I. You gotta go take that?
No, sorry.
So where we at? I have
Well, no,
idea.
actually, I think it's just a general, opinion of the audience. I mean, we're here because of you guys, and so whatever works for you, but we kind of try to wanna work it with everybody, so.
Well, other than Jason Rock, who had, that was his concern, Jason said that I don't wanna sit here all night so I can be heard. There's 5,000 people in this town. We don't hear from everybody. It's not this is not a major concern that I get with that phone ringing off the hook in the other room. I'm just trying to please the committee that shows up here every day for each of the work sessions and the regular monthly meetings, so.
There's always been addressees forever since I've been here. Addressees and if somebody comes in and wants to ask Mike about a road, they call ahead of time, and this way Mike can do his research and address it. And it's always been that way. In public forum, normally, because people want to hear what's going on in the meeting, and then they talk about, well, I heard this, blah, blah, blah. But addressees have always been there, public forum has always been there, not that it can't be changed, but now you have addressees, public forum. Same thing.
So what's your pleasure?
I
If you
didn't know
wanna
that you
speak
could
for
sign
everybody.
up in advance. I'd like to see the public forum stay at the end. So if you have any questions about what happened at the meeting, you don't have to wait 30 days to ask that question.
Right. Just throw it out as a general question. What's anybody else got any opinion on it?
I bite my tongue sometimes.
I agree with Richard, because a lot of what I ask is brought up from the meeting. So I can't address it ahead of time, because I don't know what's brought up.
No, and Jason was saying,
Public forum, for some, yes, there's gonna
Right.
be some instances, public forum, and there's gonna be some instances, addressees.
yeah,
But I agree with letting you guys know as soon as possible ahead of time, if it's an addressee, try to, so you can get the information.
so like I said, one of the biggest, I guess, was Jason, because Jason goes, if I got a question on resolution 21-86 and you're already done the resolution, and then you do public forum at the end, I don't ever get to tell you my opinion of it, or, you know, so like I said, but, in that case, he can still ask to be addressed at the beginning of the meeting,
No.
so,
Oh,
no, go ahead.
No, it's how many days ahead should somebody call or bring a letter in or?
I don't wanna speak for Donna, cause she does the agenda, but we usually finish the agenda about 24 hours in advance. It'd be nice to know, like,
Before 24 hours.
it is a little more than that, cause we won't close at 4 o'clock. And so, you know, if you give it the, business day,
Oh, okay.
that would be fair
That's
enough.
fair
Close the
enough.
business
I'd have
on
thought
the
maybe you
date.
wanted 3-4 days. you know?
No, because, you know, we can always answer it, Rick, and a lot of times, to be honest with you, I don't have all the answers, you know what I mean? So I might come here, you might ask something, I might tell you that, hey, I gotta research
Right,
that.
right, and it should be like that.
Yeah, I gotta research it before I give you a definite, I don't wanna give you that wrong information, I'd rather make sure that, and I hate to put our town attorney on the spot like that without him having a chance to,
Yeah.
refresh his recollection or do any research, so. You know, it works out much better if we do have a responsible, a written responsible. Something simple, naturally, you know what I mean? But some of the stuff that, like when Mike MD was firing question after question after question after question, I'm like, I can't. Some of that I know, some of it I don't know. I'm real not a big tech guy, but that's where it's nice where they write it down, and I'll do my best to get it.
Does that work for you, Dennis, by the way? Is that how?
Hey,
No, well, like, for instance, Pat Garza, how long ago did you know?
Last,
last, Thursday,
yeah, I was
last
just gonna
Thursday.
say about a week in advance. But
And he's, you know, kind of a business associate. 24 hours works for you, though?
Yeah, I mean, it works
Yeah, we
for
don't-
him.
yeah, we don't do
We
the
just put the
agenda.
agenda, yeah.
We have to put the agenda up 20. We'll have to. No, best cases. Okay, we try to get the agenda up 24 hours in advance. If it's not, you know, practical because we're still working on something, or you know, computer issues or technical glitches, we can still, as long as we did our due diligence and tried to get it up in a timely, fashion. Yes, they would like it up 24 hours in advance. But things happen and they realize that in life. So I've had that. You know, Mr. Jones hit me on, I know Mr. Factos hit me on a couple different times where, you know, I wasn't up 24 hours in advance, and whether or not we can still continue with a meeting or a work session. And it's been through our lawyer, and it's been through the Association of Towns Lawyers, and they said as long as you're doing your due diligence, it was never intended to stop town business. And I've canceled meetings because it wasn't up there because of the information I had by hearsay, and that's where it's not good to go by hearsay, was you had to have it there 24 hours in advance. If you don't, you can't have the meeting. Well, that is not the case. You can't play that game and say, well, oh yeah, we're busy or whatever. You know, you have to be realistic. You have to show that hey, I did this for an email or that or whatever. Or, you know, we have documentation that the computers are down or something. But no, for the most part, these things are always gonna be up 24 hours in advance, so I think as long as you give us a day notice, that's all anybody would ask for.
That's fair enough.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Yes,
I also look at it as a courtesy thing too, where if I have one question, 24 hours can be good. If I gotta come in here with 20 questions for you, I would wanna give you a little bit more time to prep, so I would say 3 or 4 days ahead and get it to you.
if you want the answer that night, yeah, give me a little bit of time to get the information. If, like I said, I don't know it all, I'll never know it all, I learn every day. So if you want the information that night, yeah, I would try to get it in and give us enough time to look it up. If not, and you just want the information whenever we can get it to you, it's 3, 4, or 5 days later, I'll get it to you. And if I can't, there are things that I have been asked that I can't even answer and other people can't answer. And I'll tell you that too. I just, you know, I'll tell you, I just don't know, and we can't find out what 100% is supposed to happen in that case. So, you know, but if we can, I will definitely get it for you. I know the board will work for it too.
So we'll go back to the same way as I always been. Excellent.
Okay. So we'll change that. No, there's nobody else. Alright, I got a couple communications, I'll take care of those, during my time, so we don't have to spend a lot of extra added time. So I'll move right to, monthly reports. Can I get a motion to accept the monthly reports?
Motion.
By Vern,
Second.
alright, Reggie beat you by about 1/10 of a second. I'll give it to Reg. Alright.
Mr. Hamel?
Yes.
Mr. Parati?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yes. Okay, receipts, town clerk, $915. Marshall Water, $242.23. Woods Mills Water, $282.39. Justice Barber, $1,772. Justice Van Ortwick, $1,326. Cash receipts, Charter Communications, $17,092.36. Clinton County Treasurer, $28,059.73. Again, Clinton County Treasurer, $55,849.25. Nice-Scoba, $595. They sponsored Bootleg for August, our 175th anniversary. They did that last year too also, so I wanna thank them, and I won't wanna go through that whole thing. So can I get a motion to accept the receipts?
I'll move.
Mr.
Second.
Alright, by Sherm and Mike. Roll call.
Mr. Hamel?
Yes.
Mr. Parati?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yes. Okay, there were no, meeting minutes for the planning board or the zoning board last month.
There was, but they're drafts and they haven't approved
Oh,
them yet,
gotcha.
so next time, because they didn't have meetings.
So I stand corrected, the preliminaries have not turned into final, because they haven't had their meeting to approve the previous. Okay, councilman, under department report?
Yeah, I got a question, Kevin.
Yeah.
The house up there on Flat Rock Road and whatever, Shingle.
Single Street.
I see now there's metal piled up in piles with some type of ratchet straps hooked to it. Is that us pulling that stuff out, or is that individuals coming in there and pulling stuff out of there? Because if it is, and that's our responsibility for that land, and they get hurt, it's probably not a good source to have them in there doing it.
Okay, I don't believe, I know, we haven't taken over that one. Okay, it's still private by the individual who owns the property. And as far as us going up there to do anything, we have not, to my knowledge, unless somebody knows something that I don't know. So that's probably them trying to get some of the metal together and maybe salvage it. I know that our code enforcement officer's been working on getting that cleaned up, so maybe they are finally starting to get stuff together. That has had a couple court dates with it, so I can't really get into a lot of information because of the court proceedings, but, they're
Didn't
gonna
it
have
go to
work it.
auction?
That's what I thought, yeah.
So whoever purchased it is cleaning it up.
Was it purchased, Howard, do you know?
I believe it was, but they've
Yeah.
also got, I think the county says 30 days before they take it over, so I can't even access who owns the new property yet, so.
So did the county take that property over, or was it actually encumbered by the county for back taxes? And then
The
put
same
up
thing,
for
I can't
auction?
get the info, I've been told that somebody bought it for like a $5,000
I noticed that
price.
it was listed in the paper for back taxes, that was public information, so I don't mind saying that on the record because it was public information, it was in the paper, but I had never heard one way or the other what had happened or if they had paid the back taxes on it or what had.
Couldn't tell you for sure because we're right in that time period between the auction and the releasing of the public information on it, so.
No, it
I mean,
went
it
to
was-
auction, I went to the auction,
Oh,
and people did bid on it.
But you don't know if it was awarded.
No, now you have to wait for the county to approve the sales on them.
Right. But you don't know if it was awarded, is what I'm saying, if somebody actually did take it.
Yeah, none of them are awarded at the actual auction.
Right. No, cause we're gonna have to have a cashier's check or whatever, to get property. Alright, so, still being worked on,
Thank you.
as I can tell you. There are several that are getting cleaned up right now.
okay, I've got a few things. I was contacted by a resident and he wanted to come down here and file a Freedom of Information form regarding the situation with our playground vandalism. And I'm looking at it, I'm looking at the police report on it, and this incident occurred in March of '21. Now, I brought this up various times at meetings. Here we're in a window over 2 years. We had a $63,000 claim against the insurance company, which they paid off. However, could I finish, please?
No, I just wonder if you're talking to us or if you're talking to.
I'm talking
them
to
or-
everyone.
That was all,
What do
because I,
what do you mean?
well, I was trying to see who you were talking to, but go ahead.
Thanks. Anyway, the work isn't done. The guy's got the part of the money, most of the money, and the contract which he had prepared is not even signed by him. His signature is not on this document. So what kind of business dealings is this anyway with this particular contractor? I spoke to Mr. Parati a little bit about it. I wasn't sure about the date. Looking at the police report, over 2 years, the taxpayers' dollars are in the hands of someone else right now. And I'm demanding something to be done with this. This is ridiculous. How many contractors would do this? And why are we tolerating this? Any answer?
Yeah. It happened during COVID. So the playground equipment wasn't actually able to be received until late last October, and that was actually 2 months ahead of schedule. Okay. I have had several communications, and you didn't have to get the freedom of information. You could have just asked me, and I would have gave you the whole folder. But anyways, right now we're waiting on Miracle equipment, and I've had several emails this year. The first date they were supposed to be working on it was April, because we went into the winter, so there was no way to tear that down and put the new stuff up in the winter. So April was the first date that they had tentatively set, and then it went to May, and then it went to June, and now shortly we'll be in July. I just got a second email, and he forwards, Pat Leary, the company we hired, forwards the emails to Bob, or Robert, at Miracle Equipment when he requests, hey, when are you gonna be able to come down? Do we have a hard date? Because the last hard date we had was June 19th. And his crews are all over. They've been in 52 different towns all over the United States, not just here. They've been in 52, because Miracle Equipment's all over. I know that their office is out of Vermont. They've been at 52 towns already since the spring of the year. So until they can give Pat a hard date to get here, to set it up, it's not on Leary's end of things. The money that was spent was for the equipment. So they wanted half of it up front to pay for the equipment. And Pat has been storing that at his expense and time and taking up his warehouse for the town. Because when he asked if I wanted delivery of it here, it's big stuff, and we didn't have a place. And I'm sure Mike didn't want me to store it in the garage, so he's been holding on to that stuff. He wants to get it out of there as soon as he can too. When you buy from Miracle Equipment, this is sole source. So when you buy from Miracle Equipment, because that's what the stuff was, and that's what the insurance company is on. It's all taxpayers' money if you want to get down to it that way, but this was an insurance claim. Okay? So it wasn't like we took revenue from the individuals in the town. This is an insurance claim. It's been sitting there. Half of the money was paid for in the contract to purchase the equipment and get it here. The other half is for installation of the equipment. That'll be paid at the end of the job. Okay? When you buy from Miracle Equipment, their thing is that when they bring 2 to 3 employees from Miracle Equipment to make sure that it's set up the right way. That everything's tensioned the right way, torqued the right way, and they care. So in the cost of buying miracle equipment, playground equipment, it's built in that you get 2 to 3 people to help set the stuff up. It's in the cost of the playground equipment, you don't pay extra for it. So there was a question a month or so ago, if we hired a contractor that don't know how to put it together, why did we hire that contractor? And that's what I asked Pat. And Pat goes, that's not on me. He goes, we'll come put it together. He goes, but you already paid for it. When you buy miracle equipment, that is part of the price of the equipment is they come out to make sure they tension everything, torque it right, and that it's safe. And it also backs up the warranty. That way they can't say, they can't say to us, you throw it together and then we're not warrantying it because it wasn't done correctly. So that is a question you just asked me. That's where we're at. I can show you the emails back and forth, the ones forwarded.
What's confusing, Kevin, is this. If you remember right, when this happened, you were just gonna award the work to this particular contractor. I insisted it go out to bid.
Mhm.
Okay. So he bids this, then he subs it out to someone else. Because he's not really qualified to do the job, so then all of a sudden, now we have another contractor involved.
So you didn't listen to anything
Well,
I
no,
just
I
said.
listened, this is wrong, it's over 2 years. It's ridiculous.
He did not sub the work out to anybody. It is part of the cost of the playground equipment, is they come out to make sure it is put together correctly. At the end of that, I just stated that that was the case, okay? I don't tell Miracle Equipment what to do. I don't even tell Pat Leary what to do, okay? Alls I do is find out the information, okay? And again, yes, it was a long time. Yes, you are correct. When I contacted the insurance company uses Surf Pro normally for vandalism work. And they couldn't get anybody to come up here into our area. So after a month of back and forth, the insurance adjuster asked if I could find somebody locally here that would do the work. I called around to everybody, not just him. And nobody does vandalism repair here. As far as Leary's, when Pat found out about it, he goes, I will help the town out. He goes, I do not do vandalism work. But he goes, because you're the town, I will help you. He goes, I don't do it. And don't put my name out there that I do vandalism work, because nobody around here does. But he goes, I will take care of the playground equipment for you if you can't find anybody else. So I contacted the insurance company. They were fine with that. They cut the check. Okay? And to be honest with you, again, I learn every day. If we'd have left the check in a check form and gave it directly to Mr. Leary, then there would have been no issues at all. But being that I didn't want a $60-something thousand check hanging around, I had Mary put it in the general fund. Once you put it in the general fund, then it is considered part of revenue for the town. That's why we had to put it out to bid. We didn't have to, because I contacted several lawyers, and our lawyer even contacted the association of the town. They said that's a gray area because it's an insurance check. There wasn't really taxpayers' money that you're using to fix this, it's insurance money. But they said so that there's no issues, and nobody can complain about it like you just did. They said put it out to bid, and then there is no complaints. Because then you satisfied everything that you have to by the comptroller's office. And that's exactly what I did. I put it out to bid again. Leary was the only one that bid on the project, and he was awarded that contract. So again, that's where we're at.
Okay.
On that note, Kev, why can't we, or somebody on our end, get a hold of this company and say, hey, it's been 2 years.
Mhm.
Is there any possible way you can give us an approximate answer to when you are gonna send some of your personnel here so we can get this taken care
And
of?
that's why he keeps on forwarding the emails to me, okay, and I have that in, on the emails. But he forwards exactly what he gives to
Mhm.
Robert. That way he know, it's not just the email that Pat's saying this.
Right.
This is the email he's sending to the company. And like I told you, there's been a 50-something different.
And I'm not saying
And
that
they're
different,
catching
but
up.
why
Yeah.
couldn't we act ourselves to see what they're gonna give us direct for an answer? Instead of going through Pat, which Pat is busy too.
Mhm.
Pat's tied up with 7 businesses.
Mhm.
He's all kinds of tied up.
Right.
So why don't we get a phone number, a contact number, get a hold of somebody there or an email and say, hey, we are the town of Schuyler Falls. We are the problem. We're the ones with the problem. We would like this equipment taken care of for our children in the town and the taxpayers. Can you please give us a direct answer or approximate answer
Right.
of when you're gonna be here?
Yeah, and again, I have been in on those emails, so that is the answer that we get. That as soon as we can schedule it, matter of fact, they were talking, like I said, the week of, starting the week of June 19th the last time. He just sent me one 2 days ago that he had sent him. I didn't get in the middle of that one.
Mhm.
But he goes, yes, he goes, I understand, because even Mr. Leary said, I'm getting pressured by the town to get this thing done. So I really could appreciate a date, and that's what he said. He goes, as fast as I can get caught up, where you are on the list, they're still catching up from COVID. Everybody is.
Yeah.
And you know what it's like trying to hire help. So I can't tell a private company when
No,
they,
I'm not
they
saying
were
you can
here.
tell them, I just
We-
didn't know if
we
we
can
could get a
go
better answer.
We can go ahead and do it without them. I don't know
I
what
don't
the
recommend
warranty would be.
If we already paid for it,
Yeah.
why
You
would
paid
you
for
wanna do that?
Yeah.
And then something happens and they're not gonna stand behind them at all and we're gonna have the lawsuit on us. That's-
So like I
we better
said,
not
I
do
mean,
that.
I can jump up and down till I'm red in the face, but it's not gonna make him more time in the day, you know what I mean? So as long as we're not getting jumped by any other, and I can send an email to that effect, are we still in the order of the list that you are getting the work done? Because I've seen the emails from April on,
Right.
and he goes, I was hoping, and that's what he'll say, I was hoping to get there by June 19th. The last one, he was hoping to get here by the end of this week. So now we're down to weeks, so.
How long is it gonna take?
I don't think I don't know, I don't wanna speak
They have to
for
take everything
him.
out, so,
Yeah.
I mean,
That was part of the
wouldn't
contract
it be
too.
better to even, I mean, I know Mr. Factor wants to get it done ASAP, but if you have that park closed for 2 weeks to 3 weeks, and with everything coming up, is that a great idea?
Yeah. How about the woods and hills? Would there be anything stopping that? We have
Other than
two
it,
projects.
no, other than it's summertime and they're working on it. But I don't believe, and I don't know what they need to do, I don't set up playground equipment. But I don't believe that we'd have to close the whole park. We might have to ribbon off a section
Section
that
off.
they're working on at that point in time. I don't wanna call them up. I agree with you, and honestly, Donna, you and I see how many people
Yes.
use that
Especially now in the
every
summer.
day, every day, okay? But, like I said, I hate to close the whole thing down. There are times that we close it, like when we're mowing and weed whacking and stuff like that, so somebody will get a stone in the eye or something, but other than that, we try to keep it open, at least during the day hours,
Okay.
and do that
Well,
stuff.
Just keep us posted.
Here, I'll just, put it back in the file, okay? Thank you.
Yeah, and like I said, all you had to do was ask to look at the file, you didn't have to have Darrell should do.
No, that was the file.
Yeah.
Okay. All right,
But that's a free.
that belongs there. There you go. Okay. A more pleasant thing to ask about now is this. This parade activity and the spending of $10,000 for everything going on here. And my question is the naming of the Grand Marshal for the parade. Now, I've heard that a couple of people on this board, it's never been discussed at a board meeting, have already came up with naming a grand marshal of this parade. And I had a couple of names myself that I wanted to put in consideration for that. And all of a sudden I hear recently that the board has already decided who the grand marshal is. We've never, at a work session, we have never discussed this ever. And I think it should be a town board decision. We're spending $10,000 on all this activity. Most of it is down here, in this section of town. Where I live, Salmon River Road area, there's nothing going on up there at our Salmon River Park. There's no musical events going up there. Why is that? As a board, we're spending $10,000 on these activities, but nothing up there, everything here. And then to take it a step further and hear this about someone has been named already for Grand Marshal of this anniversary. And it should be a town board discussion. It shouldn't be one or two people on the town board making a decision, oh, we're gonna name this person or this couple in this case. And I think it's wrong. I think it should have been a town board decision that we should have talked about for this. That's quite an honor. And there are a few other people in this town who should be considered for that. And I was quite annoyed when I heard all of a sudden, oh, one or two people on this board have named someone. That's not right. This is a town board. We all have a voice in this. That's upsetting that someone, I won't mention names, we all know who they are, but that's fine. But who is a single person on this board to make a decision of that magnitude? And that's why I'm upset over it. I don't think it's right.
Okay. So, to answer your question, the board did not make that decision, okay? That was the committee that made that decision.
What committee?
The committee that's been working on the 175th. We've had multiple times that we've asked not only the residents of this town, but this town board to get involved with the 175th anniversary. We have had 3 meetings already, if I remember right. And we've been working through all the details. Mr. Facto, this
A
is taking
committee of
off
volunteers has made this
August the
appointment?
12th. I was one of them, but the committee that
You're not
has
a
been
volunteer.
meeting, are you gonna sit there and let me speak, or are you just gonna
It
say?
should have been a town board decision, Kevin.
Then where have you been? I wanna ask you that, where have you been, Reggie, and what have you been working on, and what
Why
did you
would
get
I
done?
all of a sudden
Wait a
find
minute,
out about this?
I'm asking you a direct question. Where have you been
I wasn't
when it
asked to
comes
join the committee.
to organizing this thing?
I was never asked
Okay?
to participate.
Yes, you
or-
were,
Really?
and we can play the tapes
Okay,
back,
what do you
everybody
want me
was.
to do?
And what have you done so far for it?
When I pushed for some of the activities at Salmon River Park, they were denied.
You
All of a
asked,
sudden, there's no power there.
exactly.
Well, you know what? They make generators that are real quiet,
You
real quiet.
cannot get a band to play with a generator, because it's too much fluctuation, then they're not going to burn out their equipment running on a generator. I've asked, okay? That's the reason that I did it at River Street, because that does have it, and it's in close proximity to keep everybody in the same area.
There's no
Several
parking
people
there.
have been working on this. Vern has been working on it, Mr. Parati has been working on it, Sherm has been working on it, and I have been working on it, okay? And they all knew about it, just as you did. That's why I asked, where have you been and what
Okay,
have you done,
my
and what
question
have you
is this.
asked me
My
that
question
you could
is
work on,
this. I just
okay?
asked you a question. Who made this selection?
The selection
Or
of
did-
the,
were
of
you
the
part of
marshal?
it?
Yes, I was.
You were.
Yeah.
Okay. Why did Why didn't you include the rest of the town board in it?
Because it was done at the committee level. And all of us have been working on this thing.
You know what?
There's
That's-
never was a question, if you had an issue like that, all you had to
I
do
didn't know
was
about
bring
it
it up.
until 2 days ago. I
So,
heard it.
so you didn't know that we were gonna have a grand marshal, because that's
I-
until you found
I
out,
didn't know
and that's
you
when
made
you
an
had an
appointment,
issue.
Kevin.
Again, stay involved, get involved with the town.
Listen, if it's okay with the town board, it's fine. Okay?
The grand
We
marshal
should have
is
a vote
the
on
grand
that
marshal is
appointment.
one part of this, okay?
Well,
There's
that's
a
the
lot of
part,
moving parts.
that's the part I'm questioning, Kevin.
So all you had to do was get involved. Everybody else on this board
Our
has been
next
involved.
work session, we can all submit names and let's talk about it.
Well, I'm not doing that. I'll tell you that flat out right now.
Why?
Because we have already asked and they have already accepted. So that horse has left the barn.
That
Right.
was a mistake on your part then.
Not a mistake on my part.
Oh, sure. Sure it was.
This thing
Okay,
is 4 weeks
okay,
away.
let's move on, something else,
So
that's
you
fine.
can
That's
pick
already
apart
out.
something else, Reggie, that you don't like, but get involved. That's all I
I
can tell
think
you.
it should have been a town board decision.
That-
okay.
Duly noted.
You've said
So
that
get-
before.
Yep,
I like
duly
that.
noted, that you think that. All you had to do was get involved. Period, just get involved. We'd heard you.
Okay, a couple other minor things.
Mhm.
Okay. Mike, this kind of concerns you, actually two of them do. I had a call from Dick Gloat. And as you know, he owns a property at the beginning of Macy Lane. And there was some ditching done there, probably prior to you taking over. You know, when they put ditches in on the west side of Macy Lane, in front of the apartment buildings, there's a ditch with
Telling me or
culverts.
asking me?
Mike, are you familiar with what I'm talking?
Yeah, Macy
Right.
Lane, and
Well,
I know where he
his-
owns, but what,
Right, the ditching on the west side of Macy Lane with culvert pipes that were put in there years ago. His request is he would like to know if he could get them on the east side in front of his apartment buildings. His claim is that a multitude of water is going down onto his property. And he'd like to ask about that.
what are you incriminating me, or?
No,
Is this-
not at all,
It's like,
not at all, Mike.
I've already talked to the gentleman, I said I'll do the best I can, but I
Okay.
don't know why that was
He asked
ever
me to bring it up, so I'm
accepted.
bringing it up.
Yeah, that's fine,
Okay, that's all.
but that's,
He's talking about
I don't know why
culverts
that
in the
was ever
driveway.
accepted like that to begin with, but it's been nothing but a,
Right,
a swamp anyway. And now he wants me, because I'm in the seat now, to
Right.
rectify it,
right,
and I don't know, I mean, it's.
okay.
So I'm not aware of it, what you're talking about, so what is it? Can you expand upon it? And so that the rest of us know what's going on?
Okay. On Macy Lane, and like you say, there's a high water table area.
Yeah.
On the west side of Macy Lane, there were culvert pipes put in front of his apartment complex there, on the west side. On the east side, there's no ditching, or there's no culvert pipes.
I'm not,
in
I
there.
don't even know if that east side was built at the time.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. But I think, Mike, what he wants
That's
is
before me.
your help because it's town property. That's why. And he was wondering if he could get culverts in there. I believe,
I'm not promising anything.
so would you take a look
I
at it?
don't know why that
Listen.
wasn't done properly at the time.
Right.
It's very.
I don't either,
Very.
Mike. I don't.
So where, again, I'm still lost.
You
Is this
go-
the back the
No,
B
no,
section?
in the front, Kevin.
Right across,
Right in the
right
front?
on our summer,
Right
right across from.
right off.
Yeah.
So where
Right
the
off
apartment
of the
houses
summer.
are,
Yes,
On
yes.
the opposite
Yeah.
side of the road.
the opposite side of the yellow
Yes,
apartment
yeah.
houses there?
One side
Is
has
there any
got
houses
culvert,
right there?
culverts there and,
No.
The other side doesn't.
Above the swamp, and I don't know how he got them other two in to begin with, cause it's always been swamp.
I think there's three.
To my knowledge.
There's
It would be on
there's
the.
two on that side.
Two on the right.
Yeah,
On
there's
the
two
right.
on the right
That's
going
right.
in. Um,
You turn on Mason Lane.
So is a road pitched to the culvert pipe?
there's, it's
That's
always,
existing on
always
the
been
other
a
side?
water problem there, forever and ever and ever.
So
Even before
it's
we
not
developed.
just the runoff on the road then,
No,
it's
No,
like
it's
swampy to
it's
be
from
in.
backyards, it's from road,
So
it's mother nature.
where I'm going with that
Down the level
is,
and-
could we create a whole
Yeah,
other
and now
mess
he's got,
if we
he's
actually
got,
start draining it towards the road?
Where would
there?
you run the wire? Where would you run this water to? I don't think it's possible.
I don't know unless you
There
do
is
a 10-foot ditch. you
I
know.
live there. If you get to the wooded area before you get to the houses, there's been a ditch there for years.
Yeah,
But where he's talking about, the
Yeah.
ground level is at road level in the wintertime between the first and second house. The water runs right out in the middle of the road,
Yeah.
creates nothing but ice.
Yeah.
Cause your
And it-
guys run into it every
and
day.
it never,
From the property.
it never
From the
ever
properties,
did that
it runs
before.
right down, runs
Until
out
he created
between
the
the
problem
properties, right
by
down the
building
road.
houses there.
And it creates ice all the way down. And it's, if it's
5,
100, 150 feet, you're lucky that the ditches would have to be. It'd be halfway from the second, between the first and second one to this side, cause there is a ditch already there, in the wooded area.
Further down. you're saying.
In the wooded area that drains
Yeah,
all the
from
way out to the
Iris Settlement
culverts.
Road up to them places. Part of a ditch.
Yes, it's a wooded area, but it is a drainage ditch, cause it fills up every spring. Cause the culverts, they have to come pulling out all the
County
time.
road, right?
Yeah.
We don't do it then, county.
No, but we do Macy Lane, that's town. From Iris Settlement in.
Yeah, but if you're ditching around, along Irish Settlement, it should be.
He wouldn't
No,
be,
you're
they're
not
talking
along-
about
you're not
alongside
along
Macy
this-
Lane.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, it all comes to Iris Settlement Road. But Macy Lane, both sides, on the other side of the county, Iris Settlement Road boundaries, it's Schuyler Falls.
I agree with you. There's something you can put a ditch in if you want, but unless you got a retaining pond or something, where you go.
Alright, Mike, we'll let you look into that because that's your
Yeah.
forte. I mean, you're the elected highway superintendent and you take care of the roads as you see fit, so.
No,
I just,
no,
I just
mean,
wanted some background, so I had no idea, you know, exactly.
Do
what
the
it-
best I can. I told him that, I don't know why it's brought up here.
Yep.
I mean, we could've worked on a work session on that. You know, it's like, wow.
Did he,
But,
or should have talked to you about it, actually,
Yeah.
it's not us, it's you first, and then
yeah. I
we
come
wouldn't
here
even get involved with that, it's already a town road, so.
When was the last time you did talk to him? You said you talked to him
When we were
already.
sweeping the subdivision,
Oh, this year then?
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But thanks for them, I'm not saying that I forgot about it, but I put it aside.
Yeah.
I mean, cause it's been an issue forever since he put them places there, cause we've never ever had water issues there probably before. So why he never was why he never got in through all the building codes and put his own culverts in and his ditches to the town is beyond me. Now they wanna put all the problem on the highway department. It wasn't there before.
Okay, the other issue was brought up at a work session, so now I'll talk about it. The situation with that used trailer, enclosed trailer. Now, is that an issue that's done, dead, or?
It's not completely dead because I don't have one. But there's been talk that maybe we can just purchase a new one, and then we don't have to worry about an older one. I mean, there's all used. I mean, everybody can get used things, you know? But, that's something that we're gonna bring up later on, if we were gonna maybe get a new one. You know, nothing against Mr. Donut,
No,
for sure.
no.
And it's not just Mr. Donut, cause I've been working hard myself, trying to find a real good used one, or, you know, get a new one. You know, so it's like, it's not dead yet, but if there's any kind of a possibility of getting a new one,
I can help Mike on
why
that.
not get a new one?
I did call the New York State Comptroller's office and I did talk to our guy, Kevin, out of Glens Falls. And being that we're not buying it from another town, as you, or a dealer, he goes, you're gonna have to prove, so there's no, even look like it's in, issues of impropriety, and you're not favoring one resident in the town, alright? That you would have to, what he'd like us to do, is to go online and find at least two, we need 3 quotes, 2 other Continental trailers, roughly the same year and the same size. I went on, and I imposed on our town historian again, that's why I always thank her, because she worked on it for a whole day trying to find a Continental trailer that was roughly about the same size in the same year. We can find a lot of trailers out there. He suggested that it be the same type and make, because if worse comes to worse, then try to find something that's at least comparable. But he goes, you're gonna end up with issues on that end of thing. I shouldn't say issues. The thing that you would have to look at that is to make sure that, and I'm not a trailer sales guy, that whatever trailer you compare it to is roughly the same quality. Okay? And that's subjective, depending on who you are. If you buy it from a municipality, even if we were to buy it at an auction, because there is a clause in there for auctions, right? And it was on an auction, and we were the highest bidder, then okay, you're good that way. Or you have to have 3 quotes again from a municipality. And it doesn't have to be the bid, because it's under that dollar threshold. I think it was $1,001 to $4,999, am I remembering that right? I know you got it right there. But once you hit that threshold, then you have to have 3 quotes, okay? And that's where Kevin of the Comptroller's office is, you do your due diligence if you're gonna do that, but he goes, you wanna make sure that there is no look of impropriety, that you're not favoring just one resident or doing them a favor by getting.
Yeah, and that was never the fact.
I know
That was
that,
never
I'm
the
just
fact.
saying,
It was
that's,
Right.
when you call them, they're gonna be blunt with you and tell you exactly what
which
you
is-
have to do to
Which is
jump
good,
through
because
those.
we needed all the research that you've been doing.
One of the other things that we found out, and I was gonna bring this up at a work session, but, you brought it up. One of the other things we found out is that the 2005 Continental is no longer, it's discontinued, okay? They have a new company that started out, and don't ask me what year it was, alright? But they don't make, that company or whatever that made the Continental then, no longer exists. So I don't know, parts wise, if that is gonna be an issue for this thing. Tires, like I said, we can buy tires. It was also discussed, that we make sure, I thought that we should make sure, if we were gonna continue with it, that we have a New York State inspection done on it, so that we know it's all ready to hit the road. And there's no issues that way. So, but no final decision has been made, okay? I'm in the middle of trying to get the best solution that we can. And that's up to Michael, like I said, on some parts of it,
Hey,
whether
we're just-
he still wants to go with a
Still
used
going
trailer
through
or
legals.
go with a new. The 3 new bids that you gave me 3 months ago, the quotes that you gave me there was like the lowest one was $70-something $100. So we're about $4,000 away from buying a brand new one. So that's a board
Which-
decision. And kinda like you, whether you want something used or you want something that's new. It's nothing to do with you or against you.
No, and I don't want, you know, I
It
don't
doesn't make
want.
any difference, I can sell that pretty
Yeah,
easily.
and I know
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
too. It's just,
But,
and I appreciate what you were trying to do.
Yeah,
It's just, it's a nightmare on our end.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a nightmare. One person complains that, we did something wrong. And you know,
Hey,
how I get hammered every month in here, so.
thanks for bringing that up.
Okay, it was,
You know, I mean, it's.
it's fine.
Yeah,
It was brought up at a work session, I
Yeah.
didn't just create it,
The legality part.
No.
and I really didn't know that either.
No, because like I said, I just
Really?
found out all that information, I told you guys
Okay.
that I would find out if we could do it, because I knew that was gonna be a nightmare, cause it was
Yeah.
private sale.
Okay.
No matter whom we were trying to buy it from, but it'd have been a lot simpler if I could've, or poor Barb, could've came up with another Continental trailer the same year and the same size. And that's what he said, you can find two more of those,
Yeah.
and they're comparable, and he even said that, he goes, don't forget to take into consideration, if that trailer's down in Ohio, and it's gonna cost you $800 to get it up here, then you can use that as part of your reasoning to say, well, this one's right here, and it's saving us. So, they're not there to see you wrong, they're just there to help you, especially when you call down and ask for their help. 'Cause most of the time, that's what I get from him. He goes, you're too honest. You make yourself a lot of work. He goes, most towns we wouldn't even call down for something like that. They would just do it. I said, well, I got a watchful eye that keeps an eye on me here, so I got to make sure I do it right.
Yeah, that's
So-
fine.
With that being said though, we shouldn't hold you,
Up.
up. If you got somebody that you can purchase, that'll
Yeah.
purchase it, don't
Yeah, that's
don't
why.
feel like you
Well,
can't.
it's been sitting in the backyard, I'm gonna move it up front, put a for sale sign.
Yeah.
That's why I brought it up.
Yeah, I've been working hard with him because I don't want him to wait.
And
You
if
know,
I can get
yeah.
something in the interim, and find two other quotes
Yeah.
that are comparable, that they think will work for us, and we did our due diligence, it may
Yeah.
still work out. If not, then, like I said, I'm gonna leave that to the full board and Mike to decide whether, now that we know that it's about, because we buy them on state contract and we buy them with no sales tax, so it's about $4,000 more to get a brand new one. So, nothing against yours,
Sure.
so I'll let them decide.
Okay.
Anything else?
No.
No, so, alrighty, anything
I
else?
do have, I'll take up my son. I do have one thing, and I'll bring it up to Sam again. Reference to the pickleball court that is, got a spot in it, pretty good sized spot, and it's really dangerous. And this thing is really starting to get used a lot again. We should do something about it. I don't think it's anything you can do, Mike. It's a special kind
We
of.
looked at that last year, didn't we?
Yeah,
In the
Hard to
fall,
rectify it.
boy, they're really starting to use it, and it's getting worse. So I don't know what the heck we can do with it.
I won't even say the contractor, but I know there's a local contractor that now has an asphalt machine, or what do you call it, grinder? With the asphalt, where they can take it down and then just put a nice layer on top, and then we would have to have it naturally repainted and restriped again. It's not even painted, it's like the futsal court, it's like a rubberized stuff that they put down on it. So, I'll get with Sam and see if, it's his parks money we're gonna be spending. So, let me get with Sam and see what he wants to do. And then, at the very least, maybe we can get an estimate on what it would cost to grind that thing out and reserve it. It shouldn't have did that. I mean, you and I looked at it. Mike was out there. He's looked at it. It whatever that was that they put down for tarmac.
Something that's
It
still
did not
here.
like that last half inch. It's just crumbling and breaking away. So.
But it's kind of dangerous, so
Yeah.
the sooner we can get that done, the better.
Alright, so I'll get with Sam and then maybe,
How long's it been there?
maybe I'll throw you on a
That's
committee
So why don't we get a hold of the company that put it down and ask them what they,
for research, oh, you mean like on a warranty?
well, even not a warranty, say, hey, you guys did this job.
Yeah, but that's been more or less, they put that
Didn't
in
John
way
do
before
it
I
at
got
the
here.
town
Yeah.
I think it was.
Yeah.
Scholar
John
Falls,
did that.
Scholar Falls did it in the town of Plattsburgh paved it.
Yeah,
With Schuyler Falls.
Alright, so we're not probably gonna go back on the highway
We just need to
department.
pay, it's not, and actually, the
Save money.
spot's only probably.
Yeah, I didn't mean to throw you under the
sidewalk.
bus, you guys, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that.
Hey,
But, whatever that last
hey.
little half inch was, I know that there is a local company that does have a grinder, maybe we can grind that down. It might be cost effective for you guys to go back out there and do it again. You know what I mean? And then, I'll get with Sam, because I know you guys did not put the stripes on and all that stuff. You had to
Yeah, I
hire
wonder if
that.
that react, but just in that one little area, so why wouldn't, if
Yeah.
it was gonna be the paint or whatever they used,
No,
it should have reacted in some other spot.
no, it's almost like, the stones are coming up. You know what I mean? Like there wasn't as much asphalt as should have been in that mix.
Yeah.
And I don't do paving for a living, but,
Yeah.
you know, maybe we can, what's a top coat they call it?
Armor coat.
Armor coat. Maybe we can do an armor coat, which is a finer and more dense, from what I understand. Is it not?
As long as, to me, well, that should be all cut out and taken out and.
No, I mean that, after it's ground.
Yeah,
Then.
yeah, some kind of.
Armor coat instead of just a
armor coat,
regular
use a real
asphalt,
fine
road
harder-
asphalt on
Harder mix, it's a tighter mix.
it. Right.
You know?
Alright, I'll check with Sam on that, and then I'm gonna make, Sherman committee of one, since you brought me another issue.
Alright,
Move forward on that. Now, I know you brought it up,
Well, I
but
don't
you
have to
had
pay
me
for
go
it.
out there and look at it last fall. So, yeah, we'll go with that. Alright.
I'm done.
Sure. Anybody else? No, that was good. I had forgotten all about that with everything else I'm going. And I don't need anything else to work on. Alright, thanks everybody for that stuff.
Yeah.
Mike, you got anything else for your highway, or did we cover you?
No, I got some stuff.
Go ahead.
We've been cutting shoulders here and we're trying to get a couple roads ready to pave. Been cutting shoulder and brush on them. I brought in an agreement for the start of the year. You know, hopefully you gentlemen will figure out what you let me pave there. And I'd like to probably do some more paving later, August, you know, or October.
Alright, being that you brought that up, Mike, why don't we, cause I made copies. So why don't we let the full board in on this thing, so they
Yeah,
can
if
look
I could
at
get
it, and
if I
then
could get a
maybe they
decision
can.
tonight, that'd even be
I
better,
don't know if
you
they'll,
know,
they'll be ready to give you a decision tonight, but at least
But whatever.
they
you
can
know.
ask questions, and it's, as far as, the CHIPS money for the highway,
They got it, don't they?
I got.
oh, did you make them too? You got it?
I got one.
Yeah, I
wasted
give them all a
paper?
copy.
Oh, you made them all copies, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm used to doing that, alright.
Mike
So
needs it.
y'all
Mike-
got it.
Mike
No,
does.
you ain't getting it now, it's too late.
It should be the same if it was.
Yeah, I just gotta make sure I give you the right one now. 61, 235. Alright, here, I think you got one of each there now.
Even this one?
You're in the hot seat here.
There, wasted 10 cents. Alright, so, looks like, Vassar and Ram you're looking at, or Vassar, Ram and Soper. I will tell you that, if we do Vassar, Ram and Soper, we're over the CHIPS money. So I don't know, can I ask you this? We don't normally do partial sections of roads, but you're pretty close to your CHIPS fund with the 200,000, I think, that we got from them with the 235,000. So, how much would you not be able to do? I know it's so much I know you get this from the quarry, so that's probably too hard to ask you a question tonight to figure out how much of
Yeah, I don't
Soper
know.
you could actually get
I
done
have
with that
the
funding.
figures, and I can,
Mhm.
but most important now, it's July, you know.
Right.
If you let me do Vassar and Ram, that's 100,000. So that gives me more to play with
And-
as
and then
the year
maybe-
goes on.
Maybe we can pick up the other
Get back
road or a
together
portion of
with
the
you
other side.
with more later.
That's gotta be done by
I
resolution
did on
or?
my resolution, usually he comes to the board and he has what he wants to do for the year, you guys sign the
Okay,
contract.
for the whole
And he
year?
can't change it without your
Okay,
say-so.
Okay, so I gotta draw, I'm
No,
gonna,
usually, no, we haven't done it yet.
no, that's what I'm saying, as far as tonight,
yeah, see, and I knew that too, but it was just,
I knew we didn't have a resolution for it, so,
And Mary said they,
When are
there's
you
two
looking
hundred
at-
thousand in the account.
how much?
Yeah, 200,000.
Yeah, of CHIPS money, it was like 203 or something like that, I got it in my desk drawer too, when we got our CHIPS fund money. So, like I say, it's
When would you actually start paving?
34,000. Well, that's what I'm
I'm
asking.
hoping the end of next month.
Alright.
Really
how much-
hoping, but
How much lead time do you need to give the quarry? And it's not just the quarry, cause you have to let the other
it's
towns
Plattsburgh and
know,
Beekman
yeah.
also, 'cause we,
Right.
we
No, I
we
understand.
gotta share, you know,
So,
we all truck together.
how much lead time do you need?
A couple weeks at least.
Alright.
Yeah.
So if I can get you a decision from this board on what way we
Yeah, you
wanna
know-
go for the July, is that
Yeah,
fair
middle
enough
of
for you?
July. Yeah, yeah. it'd be
That way you
sufficient.
can get this done, you know, the end of August or the middle of August,
Yeah.
maybe the first, or definitely by the first week of
And
September.
in the meantime, like what Donna's saying it too, yeah, I can't do this twice. It's gotta be.
Well, no,
agreement for
the
whole year.
agreement is between the board under New York State law for the CHIPS funding. It has to be an agreement. So you can't do more than what we allow, but we
No,
can
I
come
know.
back and do a resolution to finish this, but maybe we can hook this thing up if we can find some other funding. I need to talk to, Mary and find out what you have in your accounts. And if you're
Just the
willing, once I
power.
do that, I can see if you're willing to transfer anything, line item transfer anything to make up the $30,000 difference
Definitely,
from something else.
that's working out. It's
But
gone.
I'm not, right now, I would say, you know, the 99 definitely is
Yeah.
this board wouldn't have a problem with, I don't wanna speak for everybody.
Yeah.
But,
But if we
the
could work around the
239
situation on some different lines, I'd like to set it at that for the year.
Yeah. Let me,
So we can't actually vote on it until we get that paperwork?
correct, she's gotta have a resolution, yeah.
Okay, so,
It's a
So we
contract.
can, we can bring it up again in the work session, so I can further.
Well, that's what I was hoping, is that we'll have an answer totally at our next work session that we have, even if it's the second one like I usually do. Because the first work session's like 3 or 4 days from always our meeting.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot that I need to
Yeah,
go to a work session for.
and the longer I know how to correct the paperwork, the quicker, we hopefully can make a decision.
Yep.
Cause we got, we got the 3 towns that gotta collaborate together.
we'll have an answer early in July because we got an early meeting.
Mm-hmm. Well, either resolution to change that, move that.
So you've got a resolution, right now you change it to the 18th, a
18th,
week
that's what I
ahead of
thought.
time, now you wanna change it to the 17th.
So, yeah, so it's early next month that we'll have our meeting.
Yeah.
Either way, it's only a day off, one way or the other, whatever way it goes.
Yeah, so that's kind of priority, I mean, you don't mind, but the, yeah, we've been changing, some rotted culverts and stuff like that too, and ditching.
How'd you make out with the one in Woods Mills? It looks like it's all back together.
Yeah, that turned out real nice.
Real
nice.
I don't know if the whole board knew about that one, but we were up
That was
there.
real bad.
I
That was real
was
bad.
up there putting the hero signs up and, one of the line trucks went right through our culvert going into Woods Mills Park,
Yeah.
right to the axle. So
We end up
cutting that
getting
out.
some real good service, shared service from Carl Weiss County.
Yep.
And we're gonna in turn trade a couple trucks service from Schuyler Falls for their manpower and their expertise. All in the shared service. So it was worth every.
They brought up excavator or something, right,
Yeah.
well, that's what the first thing I told Carl, I said, I don't have nothing to dig this.
Yeah, 'cause that was a big one. It's
Yeah.
80 foot.
And that was a lot of 2.5 or 3 foot culvert up there.
30 inches of 80 feet, man.
Yeah.
So
It was a lot,
that's an awful stretch. So
It was
actually,
big.
I think it's the biggest one I've ever done since I've been with the town.
I'm glad that went well. that they were able to help us with that. What else you got?
The new loader came in. Everything on it is really nice, but there's been some kind of typographic error from the recopy of like last October or November of last year, when we were gonna start to put in the order for that new loader. Of course, it didn't go at the end of 2022, but January this year, it did. You gentlemen approved everything. Well, there was supposed to be an exact rewrite of the contract from the first one to January of this year, and there wasn't. There was a mistake. There's two little levers that run the bucket. It should have been a joystick. And that's, I don't know if you guys probably understand what I'm talking about, but you need a joystick. There was a type error in the contract, because it was supposed to be identical from 2022 written up to this year's of January. So we're in the middle and everything looks real good. John Deere's working real hard to rectify it with the town.
So basically, if I understand it, when I was talking to him up there that day, and with you after,
Yeah.
you got 3 joysticks on that.
Yeah. Well, the third one
The
is
third one is for the
for
utensil,
the add-on,
like
which
if
is
you put
priceless.
shoulder machine or
That one you don't need unless you
roll
add
widener, and then there's 2 joysticks
Yeah.
individual
Yeah.
for raising and lowering the boom,
and
or for
that's-
curling the bucket.
That's
And-
very 1960.
And they want, most of your guys want just a single.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's, it has to be done. John Deere is gonna rectify it best they can.
They say tell you a timeline, how long they're gonna be fixing that?
Well, when things get situated, it's gonna be almost a 2-day process. And they'll be coming down here, and it'll end up be just like from the factory.
Are they letting you use it now?
Yep, yep,
So that's something they can retrofit to the machine we got.
yeah,
Yeah, they
yeah,
don't
it'd be
have
just
to
like
get a
being at
whole
the
new-
factory when it's done.
They'll just take out the triple and
Yeah.
move it to
Yeah,
the one you need.
yeah.
Is there any more cost to that?
Yes, it's $3,500, but it's gonna be, I'm not sure, but they're doing all the labor. Because of the misunderstanding, the type error from one contract to another.
Now, on your old contract,
Yeah.
was it $3,500 more than this one? Do you have copies of it?
I'd have to go back and look.
I think I'd be looking at that, because if you ordered it and you got X number of dollars that they told you it was gonna be,
Yeah,
they shouldn't be charging you $3,500 more for their mistake.
yeah, see, but then again, I'm gonna admit, that's why it's perfect for the camera and everything. In January, when they rewrote the contract, it was supposed to have been the same as in 2022. I didn't find mine picket. So, I'm guilty as hell.
I was just gonna say that because
I'm not perfect. Whatever has to be done to me, do it,
yeah, it's the same thing with the fire trucks.
I
We don't-
feel this high.
Once you initial that, that's how they build it, is to whatever you initial. When you go through the final UNR.
Yeah, it's been making me sick to my stomach ever since
Yeah,
the
and
loader's been delivered.
and again, nothing
Never
is Mike, but he took delivery and signed for delivery of it as is. So, the one thing that I did talk to, is there any other salesman, or can we use his name?
No, I'm sure, no, he's willing to come here
Okay.
anytime.
So when I talked to Jesse,
Yeah.
he said that there was a $500 increase to that loader from year to year. So I'm lying to you, it was for the service, the extended contract.
Service
The
contract,
no, not the
extended
service,
service
that's another one we're gonna look at, and I can give you that information too. There was a $500 increase for the 5-year extended warranty that's built into the contract. So he took the $500 off the price of the machine.
See, cause we got the
To
five,
keep
cause he made it short
our
from 22 to
resolution.
23, that was in there.
and the amount the same,
But I
so they ate
didn't
it.
catch the joystick.
Question that actually you had last time with the, service. I did speak to him about that, he sent me 2 quotes. 3-year quote was a little over $5,000. 5-year quote was just a hair, or I should say hair, it was right, 9,000. But that includes the work for driving them out here. He goes, you're better off to do that than to do the regular service plan that they do where you have to pay, I think it's $150, $175 an hour even while he's driving down here
Yeah. That's all
from
included.
Syracuse. So this one is all inclusive, so to speak. It pays for all normal stuff. Anything that isn't normal, our extended warranty is gonna pay for. So that, basically, the guys up there wouldn't have to touch this thing for 5 years. They would do everything, the warranty work to the service of it. That includes the oils, the lubes, the natural, your weekly greasing or whatever, you're gonna have to keep up on it, but they'll grease it. The filters, the air filters, everything is in that service contract. So if you break that up, it's probably well worth the $1,500
Yeah,
a
and you
year.
do the
to-
maintenance on the front rear end axles and
Because by the
rear end
time,
axles,
yeah,
that's-
when they drain the
that's
fluids up
massive.
and replace it, by the time we buy all that stuff, and then, you know, I don't know what the difference is, I can get, estimates or whatever it costs to do that.
Yeah, resolution.
But we do the same now at the fire station, it's all marked out, that way no liability back on anybody, and that guarantees that, again, your warranty, they have to warranty it because they're doing all the service on it, so they can't say we didn't go. The guy, Jesse was very good about it, he goes, hey, you know, we understand stuff goes wrong, if you have to, you know, replace a bolt or a bushing or bearing it or whatever, he goes, and you do it, he goes, or whatever. Or cable, he goes, whatever, he goes, if the guys wanna do it, he goes, it doesn't stop you under the extended warranty from doing it. He goes, we still trust you to do that. He goes, matter of fact, if you tell us the cost of whatever the part is, we won't pay for your labor, but we'll pay for the part. If you guys, it's something simple,
Yeah.
where you don't wanna wait 4 or 5 days for somebody to come down and do it for something simple. He goes, we'll work with you. And we'll write it down that we okayed it, so that there's no issues. So, I think it's well worth getting it myself, and I would do it for the full 5 years, but we'll have to do I think that one is under goods and services, and I think as long as that, and that's sole service, sole source, I think I can get away with doing that one for that dollar amount. But, I'll check with all of this when I get everything, I'll send you guys all the, both the emails of the 3 and 5 year warranty, and then if we wanna do it under a resolution. I just don't know. He said it wasn't like we had to do it and decide right now before we took the machine, but he goes, it's better, sooner than later. He goes, don't let it carry on for months, that's all, for the service contract. Cause they know it's brand new and they know that right now they'd be the only ones working for those prices, so. Worst comes to worst, it'll be July, but hopefully you don't need anything done before then. I'll get everything together for everybody and we'll go off of that. Alright, I jumped in the middle of you again, I'm sorry, Michael, go ahead.
No, that's all right, that's, that covers it, that was priority, I had to get that out.
Alright, so that begs a question from this board. 3,500, I know even as a department head, he can, okay. So,
You know,
is there any questions with the board, or any,
No.
what he's saying that, no, we don't want this done before we go through that way?
No question.
Alright, hook it up. Okay,
Perfect. Perfect.
alright.
Well, yeah, a matter of fact, he called me this morning, Jesse. And of course, and I got it, Mary's not here, so she can't fax him the tax exempt.
Yep, he
You know.
got a hold of me too.
He,
I told, yeah, so I told
So is
him,
it done?
he got it, he got
yeah,
it.
yeah, I told him that we don't use a tax certificate, we send a voucher out with our tax and our TIN number on it, so he was good.
Yeah, that's what you know,
But he called today, so we gave it to him.
yeah, good, cause he didn't call me back. Cause I told him, I said, man, I said, Mary's not there. I said, but there's a couple other real good helpers, you know.
Yeah, they took care of it
They
today,
don't know all the legality.
but, yeah, he got
Good.
it on, so. Alright, so that's perfect, we got that taken care of. And then on the water? Okay. Safety and codes?
Cell phones, how close are we to getting them?
Layer 8 is supposed to be getting me a new quote, cause the quote that I had before was from CIT. You got those initials right? CTS. So, like I said, as soon as they get back to me, they usually work, don't quote me, but I think through, somehow through Spectrum for that, so. I'll find out. Matter of fact, I'll make myself a note. I think we were down to 5, as long as nobody on the board wants it. What else you got, Howard? That was it? Boy, you were easy. Town clerk?
Nothing.
It's even easier.
Assessor, I don't wanna speak for him, but I'll say that he just got the equalization rates, and the equalization rate, where we came in, we're right with everybody else. So as far as doing a, new assessment and going to 100% assessed value like the county and the state wants us to do, we really don't see where, between him and I, where it's gonna, make a big benefit. On the other hand, if we do a full assessed value right now, that would be your new assessment. And even though that housing bubble's starting to collapse right now, as far as the high prices, it's not like happy. It's gonna be higher than it was, but it's not at that medium right now. So, as far as that goes, we'll visit it again in September. And like I told you, we're right with everybody else, 75, 78, 77% after the equalization rate was where everybody, matter of fact, I won't mention the town, but one of the other towns, after talking to Gary and knowing that we held out all the way through, he's like, I'm not doing it again this year. Cause there are towns that have did 3 assessments back to back the last 3 years. And even though the towns don't take everything, and I'm not talking badly about them, although our assessor will tell you his feelings about it, the school districts will suck up every new bit of assessed value and utilize it. Where the towns are a little more, we don't need all that. They will take it up. So, that's what I got to say on that. Planning board, I got nothing. Dog control, I will tell you, Cliff's been busy. I've called him on a couple, for some people that called me on dogs. I know that he's been out running around chasing some. Matter of fact, he also called down here to get a license number so he could, deliver the dog to the owner, and they were reunited. So he's been busy. Our attorney was excused tonight. Before you get to me, historian.
Yeah, let me just talk a little bit of history. I think I'm seeing more people coming in with questions about history just because it's summertime and people are thinking of things. We had actually somebody that stopped in Many times they ask about mid-1800s, which we don't have a lot of information on. I did get a thank you note, and maybe it'll be next month, but, or whatever. Somebody said, let me quote, history has to be saved and you're the front line in saving history. And included a $20 check, which goes into the town of Schuyler Falls coffers, doesn't come to me. I don't get it, personally, but, so anyway, that was good.
And legally, we're obligated to have somebody in the historian time,
Yeah, right, so
by
thank
law.
you, and thank you for the support too.
But, yeah.
As we go forward, and Kevin will talk about, I'm sure, all the other things I've been messing around with in terms of the music.
Quite messing around, you've been
Um,
doing a lot of work.
Yeah, you said it. But I do have some flyers too, so anything, I'll put stuff out here as Kevin talks about the music, probably in the 175th stuff, which is a history anniversary. So, that's
Alright,
it.
thank you. Alright, I'll try to keep mine short and sweet. I'm gonna hand these out just to get it out of the way, right off the bat. Okay, so FEMA, finally gave me a copy of everything they changed and what they said we didn't, come up with for good enough reasons, or actually they didn't have to change anything, because they wanted us to do our own LiDAR and hire somebody to do that, but they did take several, web, Zoom meetings that we had, for the supervisors, the local supervisors that were affected by this new FEMA map for the 1A flood stage, and they did accept that we put in a challenge to it. When we put in the challenge, we're supposed to hire somebody and give them like data that this is why they're wrong. They didn't make us go that far. They took a lot of our experience and our history of where the floods had been and what areas they did affect, and they shrunk back quite a bit of area that they were gonna consider to be 1A flood zone. Again, this is something I fought hard for over the last almost 2 years now, when this first came out, because it's been back and forth between FEMA and us and the state for quite a while. And I figured that FEMA being FEMA was gonna say, yep, we appreciate it, have a good day, this is your map. But they didn't, honestly, they worked with us. So this is, again, a copy of the compromises, I'll give that to Michael, and what they did pull back on, which, again, I appreciate their help with this, I appreciate everything, they're listening to us. Kelly Donahue was in on that at the emergency services, that helped with some of the data and some of the stuff that we needed to show, hey, we've never flooded here, we never had a emergency management issue there. So, I couldn't stop all of the property that they were looking to, but we did cut back a ton of it, and a ton of it just here in the village alone. Because originally they had the 1A flood stage all the way up to St. Alexander's Church over here. Incorporated part of it, all of like the Red Cross building over there, Knights of Columbus, all that. So we got them to pull it back quite a ways. I said, we got to go down 22B and jump back in, the other side of the bridge, but we never had it, that 100-year flood, they call it. So, I wanted to give you that update. I won on some of it. This is important to the town for resale of homes, and it's important to the resident, because before this thing gets made official, and every one of those property owners were aware of this, not only from a letter from us down here at the town, from me, on behalf of the board, and from FEMA, if they get insurance before it becomes on paper, then they get grandfathered in as a cheaper rate than it will be after it is a final map. Then they'll go and say, okay, here we go, and this is what you're gonna rate them. So again, did the best I could for them. I didn't get everything that I wanted, but I did help some. This is the monthly on Friends of the North Country. That's on the 200. Did you get a copy of that?
Yeah.
You got one?
Yeah.
You got one too?
Yeah, here you go, I got them.
Okay, so anyways, it's our monthly report. It's still not a lot different from the last month. They're still working with the, if I'm not mistaken, 13 property owners. So they'll work their way through this. At some point in time, I'm gonna have to go over there and do a site visit, and I'm also going to have to do, dive into a folder. They haven't asked for any money yet, so they're not close, or they would. Again, once they ask for money, that's on our end to work with them together to make sure we don't have it here more than 5 days. I got dinged on the other one for that one, that they did way back in 2017, so, anyways. Work in progress, everything's still working. Okay, I think we killed this enough because Reggie brought it up. I'm not gonna deal with this, but that's a couple of the emails back and forth, on the playground equipment, unless you got any questions. I
No.
don't wanna read anything on.
No.
I brought those in. Okay, Donna did some checking too with Val over at the town of Plattsburgh, just to get some preliminary work done ahead of time. If we do go to EDUs, we haven't decided what way we're gonna go. They do have the program and to bill over there at the town of Plattsburgh. If we do it by meter and we do it by, EDU. Naturally, we do the Avalon is the only one you do here, right? Yeah, the other two out of Macy Lane and Woods Mills is,
I
regular
bill
bill.
and collect from Morrisonville.
Right, just
And
Morrisville.
just collect from Macy Lane and Woods Mills, they
Right,
do the billing.
but they do the billing for
Because we
those.
don't have a meter, any availability to a meter.
No,
shop
it's cheaper to
meters.
have them do it than for us to do the bio software, so, basically, they're able to do that. As far as if they had to do a software update because of ours, then we would be responsible for the software update. But right now, she believes that it will work. And if we do have to do a software, if we decide to go to EDUs from Morrisville, we'll do that. And again, they would do the billing at that point over there. So, just some FYI. So I'm still working through the trials and tribulations on that water project. Music in the park. We ended up, because of the torrential downpours that we had on the 24th, rescheduling that one. That was put out on the website. And it was also put on Facebook. And it was put on Nick, Tunes of Time. He's got a whole following. He put it on his so that everybody knew it was canceled. He sent me another date already to play. So he was agreeable to just picking another night and doing it. So we'll either do a Friday or a Sunday. So we'll have, instead of just the regular Saturday, whatever the weekend that is, and I think he's looking for a date in July that he gave me, if I remember right by memory. We'll have it either a Friday and a Saturday that weekend, or a Saturday, Sunday, depending on the date they gives me. But he didn't charge us for it in the contract. He could have charged us a certain amount, even if we canceled it. He's did a lot, and he's got a couple more to do for us, so he's willing to work with us on that. Hopefully, last year, we should have knocked on wood, because we didn't have that problem with him last year, but we did this year already. So, all the dates are filled as of this time, all the Saturdays. So, July 1st will be the next one, Too Tall String Band. Saturday, July 8th, Kicking Up Dust Country will be there. Saturday, July 15th, John Chino. Saturday, July 22nd is Town Meeting. They were one that we had last year and they had a good following. Saturday, July 22nd, was, like I said, the town meeting. Saturday, August 5th is Model 97. Saturday, August 12th is the Bootleg Band, and you might have heard us talking earlier. I asked NYSCOPA, which is the Officers and Sergeants Union up at the State Officers and Sergeants Union, for docks. They sponsored Bootleg last year. I asked them if they do it again this year, so they contributed the $5.95 for Bootleg Band. So that doesn't cost us at all. And I appreciate their continued support. They've been great to us. Saturday, August 13th, Tunes of Time. That's DJ, that's Nick is doing that night. Saturday, August 19th is Neil Gillespie. And he's a country one-man guy, but he had a heck of a following last time too, last year. And then Saturday, August 26th, Tunes of Times Karaoke. Now, Nick will probably do our MC for the 175th also. I think he is open. I just want to see something already. But he's been really great to the town.
And there's flyers back here, the whole list, which is posted around if anybody has a place they want to post them. And then we also put out individuals, so this is for Too Tall String Band for Saturday, and then Kicking Up Dust Country on the following Saturday. So we kind of have individuals ready 2 weeks in advance too.
Okay. Morrisonville Waters, finishing up the rest of the band paperwork. Probably after talking to everybody, it should probably be done no later than our July meeting, to get that ban out. So we'll have that paperwork ready for a resolution, or I don't even need a resolution. Paperwork ready for July, and I'll keep everybody up to date on that. That, like I said, that's a construction loan, basically. Mesa Lane, like I talked about during the work session, everybody I talked to suggested we rebid it without a 7-day period, but like a 30-day start work period. So that's what we're gonna do with that. And I'll get everything together on the engineer side of things to make sure that that goes out. So again, we're gonna rebid that project, and I'm just waiting for Barton LaJudas and LaBerge to get me a new contract. Everything else should be pretty simple because it hasn't changed in a month and a half, other than that was one of the big things, the start date. So same thing with the garage floor. We'll put that out there, and we'll do a probably. Don't hold me to 30 days because I'm going to talk to the engineers, but that's what the contractors and most of from what I hear, would like to see for a start date. So yeah, I'll talk to them about it, and then I'll get back to the board before I do put it out there to let you know, well, how many days we're going to put it out for. But I don't think it's going to be an issue. They work for us. So. Splash pad is still moving, and 175th anniversary. So 175th anniversary, we're moving along on that. Mike worked on the petting zoo and the wagon rides. I put way too much on Barb again, putting out stuff, but she, I again had her, got the list from Cateville on the parade and how they do it, so we didn't have to reinvent the wheel. And those have been out a couple of weeks now,
3 weeks
just
now.
about. So we've got some coming in already. As far as the things that we're gonna do, we're looking at, food and food vendors. So I'm thinking the two parties wanted to do, and I say parties, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, we're thinking about selling some type of food items there for fundraisers that day. I got a phone call from Sean up at the landfill from Casellas, and once he found out how big this was, he, cause I really don't wanna compete against the town, nor do I wanna compete against the town. So he goes, if you're willing to accept us coming down here, we'd like to have, so he's already pledged that rather than setting up there that they usually do, he's got a couple bouncy house things, and he's already got a 30 by 60 tent, so we wouldn't have to, a lot of stuff that the committee's been working on, that we were gonna get, well, gonna be provided for free to the thing. So again, with the help of Casella and any other business in town that wants to help out, it's making this thing better all the time, with less cost on our end. So, again, I'll let you guys know as we move forward what is gonna happen, but basically, Saturday, the parade will start at noon. 2 o'clock, which is 2 hours, figure the parade would take to last an hour and a half. So I wanted to make sure we didn't start the ceremony too early, so at 2 o'clock will be the opening ceremony. From 2 to 6 will be the town hall open, the historian's office open, the vendors outside, and by vendors I mean the booths of the local businesses, and that'll go till, like I said, 6 o'clock, from 2 to 6, and then from 6 to 9 is gonna be bootleg down at River Street Park. And then we're working on, seeing if we can't pull off a fireworks show at 9:30 that night. That is not 100% yet. It's all gonna boil down to cost, so.
Is that gonna be a sponsored deal with the fireworks, or
I'm gonna-
something we're gonna swing ourselves?
Yeah. Now, if some local businesses wanna help, that would be great. I think I can call from the office down here to solicit for it, but I have had already a couple contact me that would like to donate some money. So, they can do that, I just can't call them up and say, hey, can you donate? So, it looks like right now, we might have another couple thousand from somebody else that's willing to donate, and as soon as I find out the check, I will put that out to everybody, but I don't wanna say something that I'm gonna tie that into.
Fireworks are expensive.
Mike helped me there too, and, the gentleman we spoke to thought he could put on a pretty good show for around 5,000. So, we're 2,000 on the way to 5. So, let's see what happens.
Is it gonna be safe out there with
No,
all the vendor people?
well, it won't be till 9:30 at night.
I mean,
There
aren't there
won't be
booths
any-
gonna be there till on Sunday, for Sunday?
Yeah, but I don't know if they're gonna go all the way back to the tree line with the booths. That's something that I'll talk to the pyrotech, and he can tell me.
Because you
Don't
got
set
houses
my
right there
house
on
on
top of the
fire.
hill too.
Yeah, we asked that too. I talked to Mike about that already, so we'll see.
Didn't you
We'll
say
see how it all
Casella
goes.
was gonna do food?
Huh?
Didn't you say Casella was gonna provide food?
I kinda mentioned it to you, but until I
Oh,
get
okay.
something hard in writing, I don't like saying anything until I got something in writing. But yeah, they wanna help a lot, and I do appreciate it. They've been a great neighbor. I mean, yeah, at times we have to put up with a little smell, and he's good about letting me know now and giving me an email after recapping drilling another well or recapping another one, cause that's usually when you get that methane smell. But, they have, oh, my 3.5 years here, on everything, from the parks to the pump tracks to everything. I mean, they donated either equipment or manpower or items, so. I can't think of them enough, so. It looks like I said, things are going pretty good. Rick Potiker called me today, he's got some more information on some things. He's been helping out with 175th, as our Area 5 county legislator, so I appreciate the help he's given us too. And,
And other businesses in town too. Mindy's been great.
Huh?
Mindy's been great.
oh yeah, well, Mindy, like I said earlier, she's been sitting on the committee, so she's been, checking on all things too, like candy machine,
You
the
mentioned something,
popcorn machine and stuff like that.
you mentioned something to me before about checking stuff at Taylor Rental as far as tent and stuff. Do you still want me to? Or you want to wait on that now?
That kind of fell in my lap last Friday. I took a phone call from Sean, and he offered me a bunch of different things. And definitely, like he said, he goes, I want us to do everything we can to support the town in this, and we don't want to, have any issues. He goes, I'd much rather be a part of this. So yeah, he already has rented a 30 by 60.
So hold, don't go to the
I
tent,
think that should be good. I was gonna talk to the rest of everybody in the committee to see whether they wanted another one or not. Looks like the only way we can get the other one is probably out of Malone.
I have a tent.
We bought one for you guys.
Like,
I think it's 30 by 24.
24 by 30.
It's the only one I could find available, so I bought it.
okay, so that's your question, that's your answer there, because,
Thank you, Ryan.
Rick Potiker also said he had, one that, like, would fit a car, so if we need to put stuff in there, so I think we'll be good then. I wanna thank Mike for the fairground stuff, he's gonna let us use some picnic tables.
How much are the fireworks?
We talked about about 5,000, you said would be a good show? You can do a good show for about $5,000?
Wasn't it like 8,500 for,
No, it's-
like, that's what the Katie Bell one was.
Yeah, when I checked into Cateville, and again, I don't like saying what they
Right.
spent, but, yeah, I did. Cateville, I wanna thank Cateville Fire Department and their members for, helping us with our event, because I didn't have to reinvent the wheel. They gave us everything they do for their field day every year, and, they didn't have to, including their parade list and all of that. So, everybody's bent over backwards to help this thing go off good. So, I can't thank, like I said, I can't thank everybody enough for pitching in and helping out, and everybody that's did their parts so far, whatever that is. There's been, it's not me, it's everybody that's making this thing come together. So, it's looking pretty good. It looks like we'll have a good time, but I think that's what we had discussed, was about 5,000 when we talked to him, and he goes,
We were
I can
talking-
put a pretty good show on for that.
Talking with Mindy said she will do your fireworks.
Yeah, we'll go.
All right, I'll get with you after, as to, well, I appreciate that, thank you very much, as a local business.
Yes, sir.
That's really nice of you, so, I'll get with you separately on what your donation will be, and I really do appreciate it. And that's exactly what I'm talking about, everybody has bent over backwards to help with this thing. And that's great, that's great.
Can I just put in, we have copies of the letter that was sent out to a lot of commercial people. There are probably certainly a lot of people that haven't gotten this in terms of retails, small business owners. And also we've got the forms for being in the parade.
Yep.
And forms for volunteering and being in the festival. So that'll be here.
Okay.
If you have people that you can pass it out to, just let me know. And if there's people that
Perfect.
we can send it out to.
Perfect, so like I said, we mailed out
And to all the.
all of that
businesses
stuff,
and-
including to the dignitaries that we invited. And we invited, no matter what their denomination were, like I said. We did invite the closest 3 supervisors that's surrounding our town also.
Not just-
legislators that, are around our town.
It did not officially invite the board because you're all here.
The
And
board,
Mike's gonna
the
help
board
too,
knows
Mike's
they're
gonna say.
invited. They should be here, it's the town's 150th anniversary, and as public officials, I would hope that we all try to be here and support it. There's gonna be a lot to do that day, and it looks like they're doing it. So, like Barb just suggested, if anybody wants to volunteer or do anything to help, the forms are back there. If they know somebody or may think they know somebody that wants to attend and, we may not have invited them, get it to them. Get it to them.
We still need to do a lot of outside publicity, but, you know, we wanted to
Yeah.
have a little bit more firmed up before we.
And I'd like to have, like you said, I'd like to have exactly what's going on before we start getting really big with, this is exactly what's going on that day. But preliminarily, I can tell you what we did and that we're hoping to have fireworks, so.
Oh, it's 100%.
Uh-huh.
We'll do it. 100%. Yeah, we'll check tomorrow.
All right. Well, and I know what your donation is gonna be, but thank you very much. I do appreciate that. So, you can get a hold of, John and tell him we're all set for that then. Have him come up here and look. We'll go through what the setup's gonna be, if he sees any issues or any concerns. But they go so high up that by the time they come back down, there shouldn't be anything hot. We'll have the fire department here anyways.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, what did you say?
The town was did a good deal, we want them next year too.
Alright,
We gotta do it.
thank you.
Yep.
So, alrighty. So, that brings me to the end of that. Okay, unfinished business. I will tell you, I did contact, Morrisville EMS. I did talk to Tyler. He is reaching out to see what's going on and how long, why it's taking so long to get AEDs, but again, when I talked to the other vendor, she was like, I don't know even how you get them from that price, much less finding them right now, cause, there was a recall with one of the AEDs with, makers, and that did put, crimp on all of the others, because then everybody was going just to that, so there's only a couple of them out there. He's gonna let me know what's going on and how much longer they think it's gonna take to get those AEDs, one for here, one for up at the highway garage. Gas, we talked about the non-ethanol gas, Sam's been going to Stewart's and purchasing it over there. So he gets a car, goes over there and gets the gas, and he marks the can appropriately. Cause it was funny, cause one of the girls today was like, what one am I supposed to fill the tractor up? So at least they're asking if they don't know. So it looks like we're saving money there. That's it for unfinished business. I have new business. I got really none. Resolutions.
Is that one thing, Kevin?
Yeah, we got.
Do we replace the last person that did the cleaning here?
Oh, my bad. Now, we do need to hire a new, I'm gonna put down our new business, a new housekeeping company for the town hall. We no longer have the one that we had, so we did call around. When I say we, I had Donna do that, called around to a couple of our towns, and we'll see if we can't get a lead on one of them. If not, then I'd say we put it out to bid and see what happens. I'll at least contact who we can from other towns and see if they're willing. But a lot of them are like, they're people that they just hire. We, on the other hand, want insurance and the whole nine when they're in here. So it makes it a little bit more difficult, because if they don't have a cleaning company, nobody wants to
Can we
buy.
put them on our payroll?
Not really, cause they're on a payroll, but as a W-9.
Or what if we hired somebody and just put them on payroll, like from record, put them on the rec department or something?
I mean, building and grounds.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, because you might not get a company to accept it and take it.
Well,
for
the
what
thing
we
of
want.
it is we've been without a cleaning company for a month and a half now.
Yeah.
And as you can see, I
Yeah.
mean, Sheila, mostly Sheila, goes around with the bags. I've cleaned toilets, Sheila's cleaned I will not go into the men's room, I'm
Yeah.
sorry,
That's all
nobody
right.
will
I've been
touch
keeping an
that.
eye on that one.
But we shouldn't have to, I mean,
I swept and mopped out there the other day, and Howard yelled at
Gary's
me and
gone
said,
with
"Are
the
you our
dust
new
mop."
cleaning company?" And I'm like, "No, I'm just chipping in, doing what I gotta do.
It's
I'm
ridiculous.
not, I help out where I can, we all do. I mowed and we whacked this whole property the other day, other than the fields. I did
And our
all the
vacuums
ballpark,
broke, so we can't vacuum.
It's normal.
but,
Once you use them,
yeah, so, we all kinda chip in and do our part, but we are gonna have to find somebody.
Can I ask too, that you look into like Orcon or somebody, because this place is infested with ants?
Ants, you know.
Oh, the little sugar ant.
Yep.
Yep, we're not the only one,
No,
I'll tell you that.
I'm scared.
The
to
more
look
it
at
rains, the more they wanna
What
come
are you gonna
in.
get?
Yep, again, it's been so wet that
And
they're coming in, they're a little
Mike
tiny
always sprayed
sugar
for
ant.
us and it was pretty good when we, you know, he
Yeah.
had some stuff to spray.
Yeah.
So,
I can do that, that is not gonna be a major expense.
I think it's something to do with not having a cleaner.
I can have Orkin come over and spray around the
Why did you
foundation of the building.
why do you leave?
Close his business.
Huh?
Close his business.
Yeah, that,
The crunchy news.
the old business is done, and, he didn't wanna go out and get his own insurance on his own, because if he's only got us for a client, it's kinda counterproductive, he's gotta pay most of it for insurance. So,
That's why I think Mike had a good idea, Kevin, you probably should try to look into something. I don't think you're gonna get a company, but what we're paying to come in here
Yeah.
for that little bit of money.
It sounds
We're
like-
gonna have
You
to
want-
almost get,
before I get a hold of Morgan or whatever, is there anybody that wants me to put this out to bid
For the
for
ants.
one time?
I think if you
Use-
put it out to bid, it's gonna be another month or
It
so.
will be,
and,
but
I mean,
I'm just
this is-
saying, I don't wanna
We've got
hear
everything coming up.
it's
We
gonna
want
be-
rain.
Are you talking, what, bid for
Orkin, or
the
whoever,
bug?
the bug thing, before I get yelled at for that. I can,
Clean.
one-time thing, it's gonna be way under what a department head I can do. I can do it legally, but I just don't wanna hear any complaints about it. So is everybody good with me finding out who I can get a hold of?
Just get a hold of Orphan, right?
Oh, yeah, find somebody.
There's not many
It's
companies.
just in the bathroom mostly.
And then you-
Yeah, no, they're crawling all over my desk too. I usually just go
But
like
it's
that,
like
cause
this
they're only
every
about that
year,
big.
and Mike usually
Whenever it's-
sprays and we're good.
Whenever it's wet, they try to find a dry spot to get. So is everybody good with that? That's all I asked. Good. Alright, so I'll take care of that. The house cleaning. Are you good if we can find somebody that does another town, or do you, and put it out to bid only if we can't find somebody? Or
Put it out
do you
to
want
bid
me
for
to
companies
get
or
an
individuals?
advertisement in the paper and put it out to bid?
For companies or individuals?
I don't, it doesn't really matter as long as they got insurance, and some companies are just individuals.
What if we just put somebody on, like we said, in grounds?
yeah, didn't the last guy didn't have insurance, right? You just said he didn't have insurance.
No, he,
Yeah, he had a company.
the company had insurance.
Yeah, it's no
That's why
different
he-
having a guy cleaning here on payroll than it is have somebody working for Mike or out mowing lawns. Would save us a bunch of money. What about Mike that was here before?
What did he get?
$75 a ton,
Yeah.
yeah, cause he did it once a week.
So $300 a month?
He's around. Maybe Mike would put it.
I can check if we can, I don't know how that, if I put them on a payroll, I gotta have a civil service item for them. So let me talk with Mary and find out what we can maybe put it under.
How about ETS?
Maybe.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
But, like I said,
Or somebody,
but
Yeah,
like
the
I said,
insurance issue would be covered.
yeah, everything
That
would be
way
covered.
as well. ETS would be.
Yep.
I don't even know where that is.
Temp
On the
staff.
base.
Oh, they're,
Temp
job.
Yeah, they're
company.
a
Yeah, yeah,
company.
yeah.
Temp service.
And if they do good, you hire them.
Right?
We did for Sheila, look how long she's been there.
Yep, alright. Who wants to get a hold of ETS?
I'll do it.
Thank you. I got enough to do.
I was gonna do it, sure, but that's.
Were you?
No.
You
never
both
mind.
can do it.
Think about it. Oh my God. Good job.
Check
Mike,
before
if you-
You got, you got it. Alright, let me know how you make out,
I'll let you know.
Deputy Supervisor. Alright. Oh, my. Okay, I think that's it, unless Mike had something else, something else, cause he wasn't mentioning it. Anything else you have, Mike?
That's it.
Alrighty. Now we're to resolutions. Okay, the first one, resolution 23-60. A motion by whereas the code enforcement officer has found everything in compliance with Earth Waste Systems Incorporated junkyard. Be it therefore resolved that the town board approves the renewal of Earth Waste Systems Incorporated junkyard license. Effective immediately June 30th under discussion, 2024. So can I get a motion?
Motion.
Mr. Friday,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Hamel. Oh, Byron? Who was it?
Don't matter,
Alright.
write the name down.
Any further discussion? Alright, roll call.
Mr. Hamel?
Yes.
Mr. Parati?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yes. Approved.
Howard, this is pretty impressive, by the way. It's the first I ever seen one of these.
Yeah. I got one question for you on something, we'll do it after though. Just something that came by my office. Resolution 2361. Motion by whereas in the 2023 budget, monies are appropriated for a deputy town clerk, and whereas the town clerk has the authority to appoint her own deputy town clerk, be it therefore resolved that the town of Schuyler Falls authorizes the $18.17 an hour wage to be paid to Kelsey Russell, deputy town clerk, who will be acting in absence of the town clerk. Can I get a motion?
Well, first of all, let's, why are we doing a resolution even on this? She is hired as the deputy town clerk. Our town clerk isn't gonna be here, 1817 should go to her automatically, we shouldn't even need a resolution for it.
Well, she needs to get on the payroll at
Payroll.
one point, and that's what, the bookkeeper wants, a resolution, so that this way,
Isn't she already
It's all-
on payroll? Isn't she a
she
secretary?
isn't, she's secretary to the zoning board.
Yeah.
Is that a paid position?
Yes.
Yeah,
So she's already in the system?
yeah. It shouldn't be an issue, but just so that it's all been approved by the board or not.
It shouldn't.
It's
Cause
just the
usually,
salary's gotta be approved.
I think where you get confused is if I'm not confused. But I think that Mary was thinking on this is normally we do an organizational meeting, we appoint all of our appointed
Right.
codes and all that at that point in time, their salaries are all part of that one resolution in January. But being that this is not January, I think that's why she just wanted on the record that this is what her appointment is and that the pay
The
is
pay was
set.
approved in the organizational
Right,
meeting.
we just didn't have anybody in.
I just never paid anybody. Not I paid, the town's never paid in the last so many years, but we're gonna,
Was anybody named that position in the organizational meeting?
No. Not that I remember. Was it?
right now, Sheila Martin is one of my deputies.
Yeah.
In our town, we can only have one deputy. So she's gonna, I appointed her 2 or 3 months ago, but we had to have, it has to go down to civil service.
Okay. Because she was already an employee?
No, just because that's how civil service is.
Alright. Really, we should have had a first and a second on this before we got the discussion, but we're kinda way past that point, so.
Did somebody get, are we in discussion now?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'd rather have a first and a
Right,
second
right.
before we keep going with
You
it.
didn't
and
get a
I'm not
second
saying-
yet, so.
We
Yeah,
didn't get a motion either.
we didn't get a motion. Huh?
We need a motion and a second.
Yeah. So, do I get a motion so we can keep going with this? And then we decide whether we wanna do it or not.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Second by Mr. Mike Parati. Alright, keep going, now we can keep going, at least we're legal here. Alright,
Were you
discussion.
done?
Yes, sir,
Oh.
thank you.
Okay. And it's been mentioned to me just this week regarding this. Let me just bring the point a couple of people made to me on this. Due to the fact that this particular appointee is a candidate for town clerk, these two people in our town are saying to me, they're feeling that it's kind of creates a conflict because it kind of is interfering in the election process. Is that it's giving a clear advantage in an election that's coming up this year by appointing a candidate to this position. So based on that, I mean, if we were appointing two deputy town clerks, and the other one was the other candidate, I would vote yes. But the point is, her being a candidate for town clerk, this is gonna give her an advantage, a possible advantage in the election this
Yeah.
year.
Now,
And that's the point I'm making.
so what you're doing is just doing her salary. I'm appointing her, and you can't, there's nothing you can say that I can't appoint my own deputy.
Well, we're in
Whoever it
discussion,
is.
and
No, but that's,
that's
I'm
fine.
just.
I'm not being,
No,
don't
it's the
take it
money part.
personal.
No, I'm
Don't-
not.
please
But the money
don't.
part is what you're going to be voting on, not who my deputy is.
So you're now gonna have two deputies,
No, I will
correct?
not have two deputies.
No, the first one is not gonna be deputy
No.
town clerk anymore?
No, I can't. We found out that I can't have two deputies.
Okay. So, that's my point. I've made my point, it's the way I feel. And certainly nothing personal against this person at all, not at all. But it's got everything to do with election this fall. Someone running for this position. That's all. Thank you.
So the decision's already been made, you're appointing this person, and it's your prerogative to do that.
She's appointed.
Okay, so all we're talking about is approving the salary wage, which we already did in January.
You've appointed for, yes, you did the salary in
There's a line item.
organizational meeting.
Right.
So this resolution's only saying that we're gonna pay this person that you
I appointed.
are appointed $18.17 an hour.
Yes.
That's all we're,
And
okay.
just, please don't take this personal now. Sure. But don't you think it'd be in your best interest to abstain from this vote?
You want me to abstain? I'll abstain.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
Once again, don't get,
It doesn't, it has nothing to do with Donna.
don't.
But
whatever,
I'm fine with that.
that's fine.
I'm
Okay.
fine.
That's all.
If this is, I don't understand why he should have to, since this is a money line, not a person
And
line.
you might very well be right, for,
That's, you know what?
that's a good point.
I'm gonna
Vern.
tell you something, the reason why I didn't even think this should go to a resolution is exactly what we're talking about now. You guys are making a big political deal out of it, it's not, it's already been approved in January. It's a state law that Donna gets to appoint the deputy. I don't even know why we're talking about it, but there's a resolution, I'll have to rescind my motion,
Right.
so we'll need a
Well,
motion.
you,
and a
you don't
second.
have to do any of that.
No,
because-
he can do what he wants to
Because
do.
like I said, and like
That's
Vern
fine.
just said, we're not appointing anybody.
We're not appointing
You're just approving the salary we already approved for her deputy
Right.
super,
So that-
her deputy
She's been
town
approved, and
clerk.
that's got nothing to do with us.
You're more than
We're
welcome
saying
to
is we're gonna
abstain
pay her
if you feel that
18,
that
that's
is the
what we're
right thing to do, but I just want you to be,
Well, I
to
don't,
understand that
Yep.
the only thing this resolution is doing is okay in the salary we've already approved. Not the individual. Donna made that very clear.
How do you think it makes an advantage for her in this position? I'm interested to hear that.
Well, basically, she will gain experience for the position she's running for. That's why I feel that way.
And if she doesn't get the election, then
Right.
it's all,
Or not.
well, let's put it this way, I was going to she's appointed. She was gonna start before the caucus,
Right.
and I said that I'd wait to find out what happened at the caucus.
Will she continue on with zoning board of appeals
She
as well?
can, yeah.
She can. Okay.
If she does, she's running for your position, correct?
Yes.
If she does get that position, then this would be a benefit for the town to have her training at the same time, I would think, right?
But where would the fairness be to her opponent? And once again, I don't wanna get deep details on this at all.
that's why,
Sure.
and again, I don't see why we're making this a big political thing. I see what your point is. This girl has been appointed 2 months ago.
To start with, we shouldn't
The
even be
salary was
discussing
done
the
in January.
appointing, the person, we should not be
It's not
discussing
part
it,
of
that's
the
not what we're
resolution.
doing on the resolution. We are voting on $18.17 an hour.
Right.
You don't even need a name there. Take the name out of there and don't even leave it there, if you wanna write another resolution.
Well,
But you just vote on the 18.17, that's all we're doing.
Basically,
We
I
gotta
thought-
stop
yeah.
well,
bringing
change
this
the
person
resolution
involved.
then.
Well, the resolution
Well,
is
you
just
might be right.
stating
All right,
who she appointed.
why
But
can't we
it
just
doesn't-
pull the resolution? Why do you have to have can we pull the resolution?
No, not because then Mary can't send it down to civil service.
Oh, okay.
Do you wanna change it to be able to pay her deputy's town clerk?
That's
Will
what I
be
would
acting
say.
in the absence?
Take that name out of there.
I tried to be as honest as I could.
Yeah, and you were painfully honest. So if that works better, let's,
All right, in
I'm
that
good
case,
with it.
then I'll make that motion.
Authorizes the 18.17 an hour wage to be paid to the deputy town clerk who will be acting in the absence of the town clerk. Does that sound better, Reg?
Aren't you gonna have to put her, aren't you gonna have to name her?
No.
I mean, you've discussed putting her on the payroll. I mean,
You-
it
We're not looking at
It boils
this
down
very
to
picture.
the town law. We don't get to tell the town clerk who her deputy town clerk is. It's her appointment. So when we send it down to civil service, they're gonna want a name on there,
well, of course they will,
okay?
of course.
But we're talking about the $18.17 an hour for the resolution. If any of us didn't like it up there, there would be nothing we could do about it. You know what I'm saying?
But
Other
again,
than the hourly wage, which is already in our organizational meeting and been approved.
So we've already
There's the
approved
budget.
it once, so why do we have to approve it again?
And the discussion is, can I just say one more thing?
Yeah.
For 12 years, and I remember when I appointed someone as my deputy town clerk, she was deputy town clerk, we went to pay her, and it was a matter of double dipping, so she couldn't get the salary. Sheila has been acting as my deputy town clerk when I'm not here doing handicaps. And,
Dog license.
well, she doesn't really, nobody goes into my computer. I'm going to train this person in my computer because I'm gonna be gone. I mean, I'll be gone. I know when I have to be here and when I don't have to be here. I'd like to,
So that there's somebody here for the town.
yes, for the town.
End of story on that.
And I have not paid, it's been in a line item for 12 years and nothing's come out of that line item for 12 years.
So is everybody good with the corrected?
How many hours will she be working?
I have
Anyway.
no idea when I'm gone. I could,
Now like, what, 6 hours a day times 4, 24 hours, 30 hours a week?
I don't even, no,
40?
no, I work 30 hours a
You work
week.
30? So she'd probably be working 30 when you're gone.
No, she doesn't have to be here every day.
No.
I'll go by her schedule and I'll go with my, I don't know why we're discussing this, this is something to do with
We're
me.
going back to that person again, and we should not be discussing this person. It's nothing to do
But
with this
we've already
resolution.
discussed it. You're right.
We should be saying 18, 17 an hour. And it's already been answered that no one knows how many hours she works. She might work 1 day this week and she might work 4 days next week. So we have to vote on the 18, 17 an hour.
Is there any other discussion? Then I guess we'll go with a roll call.
Are we,
Oh, wait a minute, let me back up. Did you actually pull your motion? Do we need somebody else?
No, if we're not gonna put her name in it, we're just voting on the money,
Okay, good.
I
Then
make the
roll-
motion.
Roll call.
Mr. Hamel,
Yes.
Mr. Parati,
Yes.
Mr. Bruno.
Yes.
Mr. Facto,
No.
Mr. Randall.
Yes. Alright, resolution 30-62. A motion by whereas at the May 23rd meeting, a resolution was passed to research the regular town board meeting schedule for Tuesday, July 25th. Did I say reschedule? I hope I
No,
did.
you said research.
That's all right, I'm sorry. It's getting late. Alright, I'm gonna start over. Whereas at the May 23rd meeting, a resolution was passed to reschedule the regular town board meeting scheduled for Tuesday, July 25th for Tuesday, July 18th, and whereas there are scheduling conflicts with some of the council members, be it therefore resolved that the regular town board meeting that was rescheduled for Tuesday, July 18th, 2023 at 6 p.m. be rescheduled for Monday, July 17th, 2023, which is the regular scheduled work session night at 6 p.m. So basically, we'd be trading the work session for the regular meeting.
Motion.
By Vern,
Second?
by Mr. Facto, so Reggie. Well, any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hamel,
Yes.
Mr. Parati,
Yes.
Mr. Bruno.
Yes.
Mr. Facto,
Yes.
Mr. Randall.
Yes. Approved. Alright, that brings us to claims. General fund, $26,041.38. Highway, $29,496.65. Audit only, $3,292.47. Woods Mills Water, $1,861.63. Morrisonville Water, $9,363.97. Macy Lane Water, $2,300 $320.80. Audit only claims are 202300702 through 202300714. Claims 202300721 through 202300835. And payroll claims 202300671 through 202300701, and also 202300715 through 202300720. If I could get a motion to pay the claims.
Motion.
Second.
By Vern. Seconded by Sherm. Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hamel,
Yes.
Mr. Karati,
Yes.
Mr. Bruno,
Yes.
Mr. Facto.
Yes.
Mr. Randall.
Yeah. Alright, next meeting. Regular meeting, will be the 17th now, 7/17/2023, that's a Monday at 6 P.M. Work session, if needed, will be 7/3/2023, and that'll be, Monday at 6 P.M. if needed. Again, if anybody on this board has something that's pressing, let me know. Other than that, it's 3 days away, 4 days away. I probably will not do that one. Alright,
Holiday too. It's a holiday as well.
yeah, it's a holiday weekend. A lot of businesses are taking the third off. Alrighty, gonna get a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
By Vern,
Why so early?
by Sherm. All in favor?
Yes.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Alright, we're adjourned.
Are we off on the third? I mean, I'm not working, but are we off on the
I
third?
thought you said